Liv, anything on Wimkin? There's Wimkin.
I'm looking.
Oh, fuck. The video. Don't cut it off. Please don't cut this off. Liv, I need you to be real fast.
I'm not getting anything on Wimkin right now.
I'm looking. I'm seeing it on Wimkin. Okay, let me try one more time. Wimkin. There's Wimkin. All right. It's okay. Oh, fuck. The video. Don't cut.
There it is.
Okay. It's on? Yep.
Yep.
Okay. Popping off. All right, everybody. We, just another manic Monday. Oh.
Did you know, dear?
No.
That when you copy something, it goes onto my computer, and when I hit paste, I get to paste what you copy.
Whoa.
I don't understand it.
Well, that's because we're all in the same network, and all the Macs do that. It's kind of it's a don't turn off the feature, because like when I work on my computer and I need to send it to my phone, it's so easy. Welcome to the Don't Unfriend Me show. Now everybody's coming back on. It looks like we're 100%. All right, folks, we're popping right to the intro, and we'll see you in a second.
Here, check out our friend Matthew Spirit at his podcast at The DUM Show and his website, don'tunfriendme.com. Yeah.
Are you tired of being constantly banned off of every social media platform for saying facts only to be proven right 6 months later?
What's going on, everybody? Matthew Spear from the Don't Unfriend Me show. I am proud to announce that the Documents of Freedom are back in stock. It's a 3-book collection, leather-bound, by Arcadia Publishing. Starts out with the Bill of Rights, and it's the complete edition of the rights, so you can look up and reference anything your heart desires. Declaration of Independence, with revisions and founder images included, beautifully illustrated. And last but not least, what would Documents of Freedom be without the Constitution of the United States of America in its entirety? The box is handmade by PFC Flags, custom engraving, all 100% made in the USA from the nails to the glue. And we have a 5-star rating, satisfaction guaranteed, 150 sold 5 stars or better. It is so important, especially in today's society, to ensure that the younger generation has these books available in the future. Get them for your family and friends, available right now. Head on over to thedumshow.com/books.
This is the Don't Unfriend Me Show with your hosts, Matt, Leroy, Amy, and Olivia. Geopolitics, military analysis, and election coverage. Coming to you live on all major social media channels at The DUM Show. Honest, direct, unfiltered. We can agree, we can disagree. Just don't unfriend me.
What's going on, Don't Unfriend Me Nation? Welcome to the Don't Unfriend Me Show. Matthew Spear, and in the middle we have...
Oh, me. Hi.
Look,
It's Olivia.
Your hair looks lovely.
Thanks.
And the other person at the other end. Sorry. Somebody else. What's your name? Who are you?
I identify as Amy today. So
Amy.
that today.
Karen's for Kamala?
Karen's for Kamala.
I'm a Karen for Kamala. I actually do want to join just for fun.
Yeah.
It'd be great.
Santana, is she still on? Did she say anything about the rating? I updated my review. Sorry about that. I'd never leave you all. Oh, thank God. Because I was like sitting here going, oh crap. Like, we've got like 155 stars and to have one, it's just, but thank you. We wanted to make it right. Like if there was something wrong, it's like, let's fix it. And then, give me a damn 5-star. I'm going to delete you and ban you from my show. No, I'm kidding. That's not going to happen. Man, it was Monday. Everything was going wrong. Olivia, I got snappy. I apologize. And I've just learned that shot needs to happen in the time I'm supposed to have my shot because I get grumpy.
I need to come home for lunch.
Yeah,
no
you
matter what.
need to come home for lunch. Like when I'm on my shot day, if I don't get my shot, I get grumpy and I just get punchy. And today was it was a really crappy weekend. I am so sick of covering this stuff in regards to the assassination
Why
attempts.
can't they do assassination attempts on the weekdays? Why does it have to be the weekend?
These inconsiderate jerks.
Yeah. It's ridiculous.
I
mean, it is Trump's fault though, so I don't know.
It is true. If he wasn't a Nazi and a xenophobic and homophobic and transphobic and Haitian phobic, do we call that Haitian phobic now? Is that what we say? We got a lot to cover. Thanks for watching the Don't Unfriend Me Show. You may notice down in the bottom, we had a guy come on, and these anons, they drive me crazy. But we had a viewer somebody who, I've seen on the show for quite a long time, and I don't need to go into specifics. This is one of our Canadian viewers it's not Mel, it's somebody else, and it's not anyone else you would think of, but he is somebody who's watched and. Seems like a nice enough guy. Big dude. I mean, I'm a big dude, but he's like yoked, like anabolic steroids yoked, I mean, because everyone's like, it's just my physique. No, dude. No, there's a difference. Like literally when your biceps are the size of someone's thighs, I don't care how much work you put in. It's not true. But who cares? But we were talking about Trump and people were going, God has the wheel. They can try to assassinate him as many times as they want and God's going to protect Trump. And I'm like, no. This is ridiculous. Because where was God for Kennedy? Right? So where was he for Archduke Ferdinand? Where was he for Martin Luther King? Where was he for, John Lennon and Bobby Kennedy? We can go on and on and on. So you can't, Amy, am I right? You can't sit there and say God selectively saves some and doesn't save. What do you think? Am I wacko here?
No, I don't believe you're wacko at all. I believe in divine intervention 100%. I do believe that when God feels he wants to, I don't know his reasons. I'm not God. Can't even imagine what he thinks or feels. But he does have the ability to intervene in any situation. However, he generally doesn't intervene with us.
Right.
There are miracles that happen. I felt like he did intervene with the first assassination attempt, maybe with this one as well. There's been 4 planned attacks on this man in the last couple of months. So
yeah.
Maybe that is divine intervention that's been foiled. I don't know. But
I don't know. I don't speak for God. I don't. And you know what? I feel the presence of God in my life, and sometimes I haven't. And now I'm in this point in my life where I do. And I'm not saying that, like I would know either way. But my point is like, let's not push our luck. So my point was, the only thing I said was, you know what? I'm not going to leave that to chance. I'm going to encourage that we, get the right amount of Secret Service, the right amount of money, the right amount of people to ensure that we have double indemnity, right? It's not just God. It's whatever we can do on this mortal coil to protect Donald Trump, right? So the person came on and he's, hey, dude, just, since you don't have a lot of faith, maybe you can tell me if Donald Trump triumphs, will that give you some faith? Something. And it wasn't like you or anyone else. I mean, this was a put down. This is like, how dare you question that Trump is anointed by God type thing. So I all I said was, and he's like, like, what are you going to do? What do you mean you're not going to be willing to take that risk? What are you going to do? Like, just really snotty. And also it was a 3-period guy, an ellipsis guy who doesn't use 1 period. So I can't stand those people. Like, I don't understand it. They'll finish a sentence instead of putting a period, they go ... and then they finish again. It's like, dude, what are you doing? It's more work. I don't understand. Just use the damn period and stop, and your punctuation's correct. Why are you using ellipses? Anyway, the point is, I just said, I can't tell whether you're questioning my faith or you think that we should wait until they're successful with the assassination of Trump. And honestly, I couldn't care less because I was up all day. I went through this thing. I was on all night. I was just, I was done. And you think a viewer would know that. They would listen and go, okay, Matt's not in the mood. I've been watching Matt for 4 years. He's not in the mood. I'm just going to be like, move on. Hey, bro, I wasn't questioning your faith, whatever. And so you got to understand, simultaneously when this was happening, Amy, I put up the thing that this jackass assassin put up about us being a democracy. And I was trying to show the parallels that he was saying our democracy is in jeopardy. And he was reciting Democrat talking points. And everyone's like, we're a republic, we're a republic, we're a republic. And I'm just like 170 times. I'm like, dude, I just couldn't. Yesterday, I was just done with everybody. And then it just got into this pissing match and lost a viewer over it. And my opinion is, if you're going to attack one of the people on this show and you're going to go after them, be right? Be right. Make sure that you didn't do anything to piss in anybody's Wheaties, because you don't know what's going on in anyone else's world. And my whole thoughts are, if you say something like that and then you want to go ahead and find an amicable solution, I'm not your guy. Like, we're going to go through the rounds of me coming after you a little bit, and we're going to argue, because I believe conflict is like the greatest thing in the world to ensure that people understand where each other's boundaries are. So, I don't know. I don't know if you have a friend like that, or Olivia, you have a friend like that, or somebody who says something and then you're like, kind of like, hey, wait a second, that didn't feel good. And then they're just like, oh, well, don't get it bent out of shape. You took it the wrong way. And then the moment you challenge them, they literally just start trashing you and tearing you apart. And you're like, well, this is what I thought was going to happen. And this is why this original comment was a catalyst for this. Does this sound familiar to Olivia or Amy, or is this just not happen in your worlds?
I live with somebody like that.
Is it Jason? No way.
Yeah.
Is it your daughter?
Yeah.
No. Tell me.
No, Jason, cool, man. He's yeah. If I question, if he says something, especially when it comes to faith and religion, we have very opposing views. Although he is a Catholic, he's not. I'm a bad Catholic, I'll admit it, but he's like terrible. So him and I have a lot of spiritual debates, and we have a lot of opposing views on everything. It's amazing that we've survived this long. And so especially when it comes to faith, if I'm like, no, well, this is what the Bible says, or this is how it's been interpreted for thousands of years now, and this is how the Catholic Church, and this is what our belief system, this is what it says, and this is the Hebrew translation, I'll go into all of it. And he's just like, no. And then he just gets personal. and he knows he does it. Like he's always like, sorry, that was a personal attack. Like he's, it's not,
like
I
me.
don't take it that way, but yeah, he's like, you're sensitive. And I'm like, yeah, well, you're wrong. So that's why you're defensive.
So everyone's getting upset, not getting upset, but everyone's like defending themselves. Like, oh, hold on, I'm a 3-dot person. Hi, this is totally okay. ... Not an issue. Now, the ellipses is essentially an extended comma. It's basically mean my thought's not done. I'm pausing. This is going to continue. So when people do this is the most annoying fucking thing I've ever seen in my life. Like, this is not, I can't stand this. And I read like that because that's the proper way. So it's essentially like putting a stop sign in the middle of a freeway. You're like, I am a speed reader. So when you ask me to 3-dot pause and have an ellipsis, I'm going to 3-dot pause. And when I'm trying to read it, I'm just like, oh, screw it. I get to the first sentence. I'm like, I'm done. I won't do it anymore. So some people are really upset. They're like, we're not upset, but they're just like, I do that all the time. Stop doing it. Just put a period at the end of your sentence and just move on. Maybe I'm a
collect your
grammar.
thoughts and then speak.
Olivia, you look especially beautiful today. Your hair
Thank
looks
you.
gorgeous. It looks
Appreciate it.
amber, red, yellow,
It does.
what's up?
So
agree.
I hate to add to the Monday Blues.
No, come on.
But our donations are not showing up. We've had 2, and it showed up on the bottom, but it's not popping up and showing the names.
Okay, so here's what you do. Okay, go back in, delete them, and then put them in. It's just, you just knew today was going to be like that. Liv, when you're done, will you do me a favor at the end of the show and just kick me in the nuts as hard as you can, and I'll punch you in the boob.
Gladly.
Okay, this will just.
What boob?
But you
Level
have
set.
boobs. I mean, you have boobs. You're wearing the same shirt as Amy, and I'm a little worried because the printer,
we're twins.
the printer was off on
twinning.
Amy's. Obviously, yours looks very stretched out, Amy, and slightly oblong. So I'm sorry about that. The printer.
Can I just say I wore this in public today? I wear it in public often. I'm not saying I don't. I always wear it in public. But like today, I had to run like 8 errands, and I had to go to some very not conservative areas today.
Yeah,
And
Liblabville. Got it.
I was treated very poorly in some areas, and I'm like, why is everyone so? I was just really taken aback. Because it took me a minute to be like, gosh, well, I guess everyone's in a bad mood today. And then I'm like, oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
There it
because
is.
someone gave
Now-
me a double take and like did the up and down on me. And I'm like, what the heck? Okay.
yeah. Well, you just say white woman, not for Kamala. So don't know what to tell you.
All right, you got to delete the total. You got to delete 3110 off our total because it didn't take it off the total.
I'm really not gonna. It'll catch up once we close the program. It'll
it.
start over, and right now it's fine.
Okay.
Thank you for donating. We had one donation.
That was Christina, and then this one is coming in
Hi,
right
Christina.
now.
Thank you so much. I appreciate.
Thank you.
Joseph said he sent a small donation on Sunday. Was it through Joseph? Was it through a tip or was it through PayPal? What was it through?
There it
Oh,
is.
did you
Okay.
send it through Rumble? Somebody sent 50 through Rumble. Who was it who sent 50 through Rumble? Because I saw you do that. Thank you. You're a godsend. You people are amazing. So,
Yeah, those are the 2 donations.
okay, well, we had $50 from Rumble too, and I couldn't figure out who did it because it doesn't show me. So whoever did Rumble, please let us know. If you want to be anonymous, that's fine. But we thank you so much. All right, we got a lot to do. We're going to be on until 9:30, and the reason why is because Amy made us late. Joseph, can you check PayPal, honey? Joseph
I'm
said he
doing it
sent
right
us
now.
something, so we just missed it, but we'll find it.
Sunday.
We're going to be a little bit late today. And by the way, phone line is open if anybody wants to call in. Hopefully this one guy calls in who is after
Nope,
me today.
I don't
And
see
he
it.
goes, your podcast sucks. Who's going to listen to you for politics? I mean, what's your experience? I'm like, well, I don't know. 10 years working in the government, working intelligence, Fortune 500 companies, running a gubernatorial campaign in Wyoming, running and working with a state legislature campaign here in Virginia, sheriff's department, criminal justice major, poli-sci, AA, 25 years experience in those Fortune 500s, working with people who obviously are in government, having contacts in every single alphabet agency, knowing state legislatures, senators, and governors. I don't know, man. What's my experience? And then he's like, well, what about your podcast? What is it doing? I said, well, let me break it down for you. We're in the top 20% of overall podcasts for video for Spotify, for overall podcast on Goodreads, and also Apple iTunes. We're ranked in the top anywhere from 14 to 50, depending upon which week it is, as one of the top podcasts in the country for news. Our interactions are 1,500 plus comments and 20% interaction from our listeners, which is, it beats Ben Shapiro, it beats Benny Johnson, it beats everybody. We are one of the highest on any platform as far as comment. It's ridiculous. We have 100 people in here and we get like 1,500 comments. Wimkin's the same thing. Jason can't believe it. He's like, dude, I'm watching Wimkin. I can't believe the interactions you have. People just interact with the show. So, and you know, you guys like, I'm on Instagram and you got 800 followers. You suck. I'm like, okay, you know what? You remind me of when I first started out and I had 800, then I had 8,000, then I had 80,000, and nothing's ever good enough for you people. So I hope that guy comes on. But anyway, Amy, did you see what happened this weekend?
I did. I actually was listening to your show yesterday. I had to run to the store really quickly, so I put it on. I didn't get to listen to the whole thing, but I listened to a good portion of it. So yeah, very interesting. I mean, I just wish Trump would stop all this rhetoric and stop bringing this violence upon himself. I mean, this is just
he
awful.
Really needs to change the way he dresses. He's just asking for it. You know, the way he
the
dresses.
low-cut shirts and the short skirts. It's ridiculous.
He's sending
looks like
signals.
a hussy. Yeah.
He's sending signals. You know, shoot me. I wish he would stop. He's got to figure it out because you know, he's just one of these days these people aren't going to miss. You know, so damn him for you know always asking for this type of treatment.
I mean, I don't know why would he even think to dress that way, especially on a golf course wide open like that? I mean, it's just that's on him.
Play golf. He shouldn't play golf. He should be in his basement. That's how you run a proper election. Let's listen to the Palm Beach County Sheriff. Let's give you guys an update on what's going on because it's important.
It will.
I've got some comments on this. I'm not extremely happy, to be honest with you, on a lot of things. But let's go ahead and watch this together, and we can talk about it after.
We're here today to give an update on the investigation in regards to the incident at Trump International. With me is the U.S. Attorney, the FBI, and the Secret Service. Just to give you a little information, as you well know, the road down there on Summit is still blocked off. It will be blocked off probably for the remainder of today and probably a good portion of tomorrow, until some of the investigative things need to be done and finished. But we're accommodating people in and out, getting them to the library, getting them to the post office, so the public is not going to be that far inconvenienced. The security level at Mar-a-Lago is the highest it can possibly be now. The road closures are back in place and will remain there. The checkpoints are in place. And my commitment to the Secret Service is to give them every possible resource from PBSO. Once they determine the level of security that they need, they will get all the resources possible. So having said that, I'll let you talk to the U.S. Attorney.
Why wasn't that done after they tried to kill him in 2019 when the guy had a gun and tried to rush the stage? Why wasn't his security that way? Why, when he had a credible threat from Iran, that he didn't have that level of security? Why, when Aryan Nation groups, quite a few Aryan Nation, particularly prison groups, felt that Donald Trump disavowed them and had threatened to take his life, did he not have that level of security? And why not after Butler, when he was actually shot, did he not have that level of security? Can anyone explain to me why? It's like, this reminds me, this is what's known as tragedy bingo. Does anybody know what tragedy bingo is? Let me explain it to you. That was rhetorical. Olivia?
We need a card.
Yes.
No, you don't need a card. You can do this in your head. You've got a 5x5, right? So you got 25 squares, okay? In the middle is a star, okay? Kind of looks like a Scrabble board, 25, 25, okay. And up on the top is B, and then INGO, and then down is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, okay? So B1, I1, okay, everyone understands. Okay, good. So here it is, bingo. All right, we're going to have a hurricane. And the first hurricane that we have, everyone dies. The whole state, everybody, 5 million people dead. And you look at your bingo card and go, okay, my bingo card is completely full of the things that I was supposed to do and didn't do. So then a year later, we repopulate. We bring in other states. We put all the illegals in this state, and another hurricane's coming. And then they're like, okay, let's see. We're going to go ahead and have water. We're going to go ahead and have electricity. We're going to go ahead and have roadways. We're going to go ahead and do a mass exodus before it hits landfall. We're going to go, okay, got it all. We're ready to go. Here's a new bingo card. Now the bingo card is 100 spaces, and we're ready to go. And then the hurricane hits landfall and kills everybody. Because we forgot to understand that the first hurricane was the strength of a tropical storm, and then this next hurricane was, what do they call those? An F5. What's the ranking?
Category
Category 5. This is a category 5. So then a year goes by, and they're all right. Now we know. Now we're going to check to make sure that we see the strength of this thing. We look at swell. Okay, got it. Okay. Then third year comes, and the bingo card is now this big. And they keep adding and adding and adding and adding. But instead, that is what's known as tragedy bingo, is that they're not being proactive. They're being reactive. The Secret Service is playing tragedy bingo. They're just like, okay, now we got it. Now we got it. This guy in an AR. But all of a sudden, a Cessna is going to land right on top of the 9th hole. And they're like, okay, we may have had the Cessna land, and luckily it missed Trump, but this time no more Cessnas are going to get, and then all of a sudden it's a subterranean freaking drill machine that comes up, and, Smurfs come out and attack him with knives. If you're the Secret Service and you aren't considering every plausible situation and using hundreds of years of experience since 1865, 1885, when the Department of Treasury put them in place. If you're not using that experience to ensure and look at world situations and all the different ways that people have tried to kill a world leader, whether it be a shoe when they threw it at George Bush, or whether it be, intoxicated vegetables on the Archduke Ferdinand, whatever it is, we tried to kill Castro like 71 times. We should have all contingencies laid out and being reactionary based upon preventive countermeasures. This should have been fixed. So now this is what I hear in every one of these conferences. Now we've got it. Now we got full protection this time. Oh crap! Somebody went through a manhole cover. Well, we forgot to weld that. That won't ever happen again. We've got it this time. Give me a break.
We got a couple questions.
Okay, Amy, did you have anything to say about tragedy bingo here?
I just know that those bushes were a lot. I mean,
those bushes
are
were
hard.
those bushes are hard. Yeah. I'm gonna make that shirt. Bushes are hard.
Yeah.
Luckily it wasn't a Haitian cat that, because then, oof, people would have been like really pissed off. Go ahead. What are the? I know we got a ton of questions, and we're gonna get to them all.
Susie wants to know. I heard he sat in the bushes for 12 hours.
He did.
Yes, he did.
12 hours. And what's interesting is that if you look at the area, it's really interesting. This guy should have been smart enough, if he has a ceramic nest, that he would have had some sort of camouflage on. But it's my understanding that this guy wasn't stupid, because he was going, when they caught him, with the flow of traffic, which is the smartest thing you can do. If you just got done shooting somebody, you catch the guy going 110. You send up a chopper, you look at all the freeways, and you find the cars that are fleeing, right? So this guy went with the flow of traffic, was wearing a loose-fitting shirt and baggy pants. He must have been wearing something or changed clothes I'm interested to get the eyewitness account description. I want to see their testimony, and that will all become public because of the Freedom of Information Act. When, we don't know, but I want to know that. I want to know, like, when they saw him, was he in Florida every day, pink and blue jeans, or was he in some sort of ghillie suit or some sort of camouflage? Because it really doesn't make much sense. By the way, it's not an AK-47, it's an SKS.
Got it.
SKS, I looked at the weapon up close and I got a chance to look at it. I believe it's an SKS, which is a fairly effective sniper rifle, especially at that range. An SKS is a fantastic weapon. It's kind of outdated now, but in its time in the 90s and 2000s, it was a very effective weapon. Go ahead.
All right. Does anyone
Yeti.
know where she's? Apparently, she missed me too. Does anyone know where the truck was parked while he was in the bushes? If it was on the side of the road, wouldn't patrol cars have called in the plates or something?
Yeah, it was on the side of the road. That's my understanding. It was on the side of the road, parked, and then he ran to it and then got in, and then because he was running, a bystander, which is probably the only reason they caught him, took a photo of his license plate and description of him. Amy, did you hear anything else besides that?
No, honestly, I want to know, like you said about the eyewitness, I want to know what they saw. Like, did he come bolting out of the woods? Like, where was this other person in reference? Like, what were they doing? I'm just curious to know all the logistics that they have. I don't know if we'll ever hear, to be honest. I have a feeling that we'll never hear their eyewitness account. I don't know.
Well, that's a little circumspect to me, right? Is that an eyewitness has the presence of mind to take a photograph?
Right.
It's a little weird, right? I mean, someone's running to their car. The first thing I'm going to do is not take a photo. Now, if I just heard gunshots, I'm absolutely going to go. And that's probably what it was. They heard the gunshots and said, oh no, wait a second. Something's, wonky in Willy Wonka land, and decided, okay, this person might be a, POI. And if they're a POI, I'm going to take a photo because this is wrong, and I'm going to do my part as a citizen. I'd do the same thing. Honestly, I'd pull my concealed carry. That's what I would do. If I heard gunshots and I see someone running from the vicinity of those gunshots, I'm going to pull my concealed carry, and I'm going to put that person on the ground. Not kill him, but I'm going to let him know I'm armed and to stop for a reason. I'm running away from the gunshots. That's awesome. I'm here to protect you. Sit the fuck down. We'll figure this out in a second.
All right, got another one.
Yeah, go ahead.
So if he were to be killed tomorrow, what happens to the Republican Party?
Who?
The former president. I want to say.
No, you can say it. I mean, at this point, you can say assassin and Trump all day long. The Secret Service probably has about 1.7 million flags every second now. Yeah. The poor Secret Service. Well, not Secret Service, the NSA. I feel horrible for NSA boys right now scrubbing message traffic. So I guarantee the ONI is involved and other agencies are involved scrubbing traffic because the word Trump and assassin is like, it's everywhere. And honestly, I should probably shut up and everybody should stop writing those two words. Yeah.
So if that were to happen, what happens to the Republican Party and presidency?
Republican Party would pick somebody to fill in. It would more than likely be DeSantis. You may even see a Nikki Haley vice presidency or one of the two, considering Nikki Haley was there. They'll do it the right way. But it's so close to the end of the election anyway. It would make a huge impact. And honestly, Donald Trump being assassinated would martyr him. And I think no matter who run, whether it be Youngkin or DeSantis or Haley, which are probably the top three, I don't want to hear anything about Tulsi Gabbard and Vivek Ramaswamy. Please, just it's gonna. It would be Haley or DeSantis or
Zach's
Youngkin.
really pulling for Vivek though to run for president next. I'm like, he's young. Yeah, I'm like, maybe when you're older, he'll be president. But I actually have a question about this. So, do you think that his team is sitting down with him, or like his wife and children, and are saying enough? Like, your life is not worth saving the country. Like, if it was my husband, if it was my child, if it was my dad, I would be like, this, like, we love you too much to lose you. You have to quit. You have to.
Well, I know this morning for certain, head of Secret Service arrived at Mar-a-Lago and had a closed-door conversation with Trump and his family. I know that for a fact. So that's 100% certain. So I'm positive that conversation took place. Dad, let's have a talk, right? That has to happen. And I don't think Trump quits. I don't think Trump has it in him to quit, but it's serious, man. I mean, this is serious. It's not a matter of, and this is my honest to God feeling. It's not a matter of if, it's when. Because he's got to go 4 years as president, and the amount of people who are going to try to take a shot at him or try to harm him, he's the most hated man in U.S. history. I mean, can anyone think of anyone else who's more hated than Donald Trump in U.S. history? No. Seriously, I can't.
Isn't this just speaking to a greater problem that we have here in America and probably to the world, is that mental health is a real serious problem and we're not doing enough in our country to help those who are truly in need. And we can't just say, oh, it's okay. We're not calling out the mental illness anymore. Everything's fine.
Yeah, well, that's the
Dress
problem.
up as a cat. You can dress up as a boy if you're a girl. And it's like there's so many problems. It's not okay. And I think our country is too afraid to say, this is wrong.
Maddie, thanks. And I'm sorry, I thought you were done. So I have to learn my own rule.
I was thinking,
go ahead.
Yeah, no, it's fine. I'm done.
Yeah.
Thanks, Matt.
Go ahead, Liv.
Do you think we will ever see what was on the GoPro he had on the fence?
No, but who cares, right? And I don't mean to trivialize the question, and I don't mean to be rude to the person, but nothing happened, right? The GoPro was honestly, okay. This guy, I'm going to break it down for you, but this guy was knucking futs. Like I don't know if you guys know this, but last night Olivia was snoring. So I must have spent
It's something new.
Yeah.
Never happens.
I must have spent 4.5 hours just studying 456 tweets of this guy, going into criminal database, uncovering things that people haven't even seen yet. I put this under wraps. I don't even know if it's out there now. I haven't even looked, but I had this last night, and a lot of viewers had a chance to see it. And the mods did. But this form right here, I'll break it down for you, is basically a Ukrainian registration form. And this was on his Facebook page that was scrubbed very, very quickly. Seal's authentic, language is authentic, and I can pretty much translate it for you because I did that last night. I'll put it back up so you can see it. So you guys can take a look. And there's a lot of people trying to put this at Ukraine's door. People need to stop. I mean, seriously. Let me find this for us. Hold on. Okay. Let's see. Oh, I got to see if I can find this.
Instead of translating, I would just like for you to read these words.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to.
Can you speak Ukrainian at all?
No, not a fucking lick. Not a lick. I mean, there's probably some basic Cyrillic and other words that are common, considering it's a form of Russian, but I am so far removed, there's no way. In fact, no, I'm looking at it. It makes no sense to me.
What is their based off of? Jeez.
Well, let me go ahead and do this, and then I'll tell you. Okay. Ministry of Defense of Ukraine Military Unit A77A8, which if I'm not mistaken, I think it's Azov. Code EDRPOU, Unified States Registry, zip code, Gordok, Zamotskia District, Zamotia Region. Written consent to the command of Military Unit A788 has reviewed the candidacy of name redacted, born in year redacted, personal identification number redacted, for military service in Military Unit A788 under contract as rifleman. To the commander of Assault Battalion of Military Unit A788, military rank according to the state as sergeant, a salary of number redacted. I request the assistance be provided in processing the necessary documents of further military service under contract to military A788, Commander of Military Colonel Yvaslav Ponomarenko. What is it? Well, it's registration. It's basically a civilian registration into the Ukrainian war military. Now, this guy has connections. Oh, I know. Everybody, listen. I got you. I got you. You know I've already done all my homework. Everyone's like, what about the Azov Battalion video? Do you have the Azov Battalion? Matt, do you have the Azov Battalion video? I'm just wondering, where's the video of the Azov Battalion video?
Why?
That video from Azov Battalion. Do you have it, Matt? I got something better.
You here?
How about being interviewed by Newsweek?
Oh, that was the best. Yes.
Dude, this guy, we're going to go into it, and I'm going to give you my opinion on who this guy is, because his criminal record is longer than my Johnson. 30 years ago, he essentially had hostages in a home. This guy's got a criminal record that's insane. This is insanity. Here we go.
I'm 56 from the U.S. From North Carolina.
See, Jared, that's why you're a great admin, because you didn't release this when you shouldn't have, but you waited for me to read it, and then read it, then you copied and pasted it from the admin chat, and that means a lot. You assisted the show right there. That's why you're a good admin, buddy. You may not do a lot as far as like kicking people, but that was a great call, because I told you don't share it, right? And then you didn't share it until now, and if you did share it, you're in trouble. Here it is.
Originally, so I live in Hawaii now, so flew all the way from Hawaii here. So the question as far as why I'm here, to me, a lot of the other conflicts are gray, but this conflict is definitely black and white. This is about good versus evil. This is a storybook, any movie we ever watched, this is definitely evil against good. I mean, we're battling a situation here where, the Ukrainians and the rest of the world are caring and kind and generous and unselfish and take care of one another, and it's just a matter of, we need to stand up for that. That is the most important thing in the world, is just to show human beings that we're kind and we're caring and that we take care of one another and that the world is united so that we feed each other and make sure that, we all move forward as one collective whole unit. So, we feel the pain of one country's failure and their conflicts, and we enjoy the successes of other countries that are doing good, and we all work together. And for some reason, Russia does not grasp this concept that we're all one unit, and we have to get along and work together. And
I want to make sure I clarify something. People are saying that he's also in a BlackRock commercial. He's not in a BlackRock commercial. This is an Azov commercial, and I'll explain it to you. I'll have that commercial too. They're saying that the shooter from Butler is also in a BlackRock commercial. He is in a BlackRock commercial. This is a completely different commercial, and I think the company's like Black House or something like that. And of course, people are going to go ahead and tie this in together. In no way, shape, or form is this guy in a BlackRock commercial. At least I haven't seen anything, and I've seen pretty much all of it. But let's go ahead and watch this, and then I'm going to show you some of this guy's tweets.
And be normal human beings. This is 2022. We have to work together. It seems asinine that we have a leader in a country that does not understand the concept of being unselfish and being generous and being kind and just the basic moral values that are required by human beings.
All right, so it's really interesting because if you do analysis of his voice patterns, of his overall eye contact, his poise, he's actually a very articulate speaker. He doesn't come off as crazy. He comes off as crazy because of what he's wearing, his hair. But you put him in a suit and you shave him and you center the camera. And this guy's convincing because I've got photographs of this guy in Washington, D.C. in three-piece suits. I've got this guy in literally a $3,000 suit. I also have questions of where he got his money. Flying to Hawaii, to North Carolina, to Florida is not cheap. This guy's a roofer. Have you seen his house and seen his car? I got a picture of his car and his house. You want to see that? I don't know if you guys have seen that yet. There's a lot of things that I've got that you maybe don't have. What's up, Ames?
No, I haven't seen it. I'm curious to see.
There you go. picture of his house, and if you look, there's a little bumper sticker there. Can anyone tell me what bumper sticker that is?
Oh, it says Biden Harris.
Biden.
It does say Biden Harris. There's his house.
Can I just chime in on this though? I know a couple roofers myself, and I know that we live in a bubble, but they do really well for themselves. And I know one of them who lives not too far from me, and you would think they're poor. Like you would think this man is poor because he doesn't. He has tons of money. He's the nicest person. He does not care about material things. Like so, maybe this guy could be the same way. Maybe he banks all of his money for assassination attempts. I don't know,
but the workload is the interesting thing. His bank deposits, his receipts. It doesn't indicate that he is wealthy. He's one guy in a truck. So a lot of the things is roof repair. And you're talking to a guy who used to run advertising for a very large roofing company. I know how much money they make, and I know how much money they paid me. There is no doubt there's money in roofing, and it is considerable. I mean, some of these roofs are $50,000, $60,000, and honestly, the cost is $18,000. So they're ripping people off like crazy. But this guy does not line up with a well-off roofer. And then taking off for considerable amounts of time to go to Ukraine and not to be interviewed by the State Department. Why is the State Department not investigating this guy? Why aren't they looking for some sort of ties as a foreign asset? I mean, this has just got Oswald Weird written all over it. I mean, because Oswald was the same way. Oswald was a radio operator. We know that he was in intelligence. He had linguistics out of Monterey, California. We know he went to the Intel Training Center for Marine Corps and Navy personnel. We know that he renounced his citizenship of the United States, went to Russia, married a local girl, was put up in an apartment by the KGB and the Politburo for almost a year and a half, 2 years. We also know that certain radio operating secrets and other type of intelligence that he collected, he explained to the State Department that he was going to release this information. They let him go anyway. And then 2 years, he gets to exfil from Soviet bloc Russia with his wife and daughter in tow. What? They hold on to your wife. They hold on to your child and let you go. That way they can kill them and put them in a Siberia death camp to ensure that you follow whatever they want you to do. And then he just pops hatch, comes to the United States, and the State Department doesn't arrest him for treason and just throw him in the middle of Texas where he picks up a couple jobs between Louisiana and Texas. A little weird, don't you think? Is this guy Lee Harvey Oswald? No, but his history is that there's something strange about his background. It screams to me that this guy was on the radar, and he had to have been on the radar because let me just show you a couple of things here. Yeah, this is, I've got his entire Twitter profile, and a lot of this stuff, I got 4 minutes of video here, but a lot of this stuff was grabbed before they scrubbed him. So Elon scrubbed him, Zuckerberg scrubbed him. He had 3 other social media profiles that they scrubbed. So, Liv, are you stacking questions for me?
Yeah, I got a couple right now that I've seen.
Before we go to some of the tweets, go ahead.
All right, somebody said that they heard that he voted for Trump in 2016.
He did.
Okay.
He did. He voted for Trump in 2016, and then he literally turned vitriolic and I want to kill Trump type attitude. I'll show you this in some of the tweets, but he felt Trump was a traitor. He betrayed his country. He didn't. But this guy also supported Nikki Haley, Vivek Ramaswamy, Kamala Harris, Joe Biden, talked about Barack Obama. This guy literally was conservative and then flipped to 100%. In 2020, he had some comments about a few Republican candidates, but and even in late, I think April, he had a comment about Nikki Haley. But this guy hated Trump, and he was not a Trump fan. And anyone who says he is, he's got a Biden sticker on the back of his vehicle. Give me a break.
Somebody wanted to know if you've covered Executive Order 14019.
No.
Okay. I don't even know what that is.
Who asked that question?
Cammie on Rumble.
Okay, I got it. I think I like Cammie. What is it?
Executive Order. Let me go back to the question.
I've heard this. 14019.
Yeah, 14019. Yeah.
Yeah. So I haven't talked about it, but I've heard it. What? Amy's laughing at me. It was just in my head.
No,
what do you want?
I'm laughing at Liv. No, I'm literally laughing at. I'm laughing at your cat. was like, please
She
just
just-
pet your cat. And I didn't want to
I've
say
been
that
petting-
because I heard it in
have
my.
been. And then when I stop, she stares at me into my soul.
Okay, let me read this off. Okay, that's not going to work. Let me get this here. Order was announced March 7, 2021, the 56th anniversary of Bloody Sunday, an incident in 1965, Selma to Montgomery marches. The order faced criticism for some members of the Republican Party in the buildup of 2024 United States presidential election. Representative Claudia Tini claimed that the order requires our taxpayer-funded federal agencies to violate the Hatch Act and engage in illegal voting harvesting. I knew what this was. Thank you, Deborah. Thank you very much, Deborah. Sorry.
Thanks, Deborah.
I did it. I'm sorry.
did
I
it
see
too.
it. I'm just trained. It's like Pavlov's dog. I'm just like, woof, woof, woof. Folks, you can donate at linktapgo.com/thedumshow. We have a big goal. We're almost at 2,000. That'll put us $17.50 behind goal. That's not too bad. That's right on line. Help us out tonight. Let's hit that number. Let's hit that $2,000 mark. Thank you so much. And all money goes to the show. It doesn't go to anyone else. It goes to paying our internet bill, paying the lights, paying the stream time and everything that we do, and also leaving a little bit left for us so we can eat and have a roof over our heads. I am aware of the executive order. I had to look it up. It's in my brain, but I didn't know the contents. I haven't covered it, but it doesn't mean I don't know about it. So why don't we put it on a show and we can do it later? Cool. Okay. What else?
That's it
Perfect.
as of right now, unless I missed one on Facebook. So if you asked a question, I missed it, just repost it and tag me in it.
Yeah, that sounds yummy. Let's see. View. Yeah, I can't get much bigger than this. So here's just, we're going to let this play in the background. So I have this if anybody wants it. It's almost a gig.
Jeez.
And it's 4 minutes and 56 seconds of his entire Twitter feed. I've got the whole thing. I've also got everything on Facebook. Got all his pictures, his videos, everything. I've got a server that's like 10 terabytes just full of information like this just to be used whenever I need to. But this guy he's nuts. I mean, crazy. First of all, he's just from a profile standpoint, he's very meticulous. He's very anal retentive.
Is that Arabic right there?
No, sir. Farsi. Yes, Arabic. Farsi. Yes.
What was he doing typing Arabic?
Well, he was just copy and pasting somebody else. So if you take a look, his tweets are systematically, they're spaced. Punctuation is impeccable. I mean, this guy really cares about the way that he presents. And in fact, what's interesting, his tweets are always perfectly aligned with the amount of words that are accessible on Twitter. He uses every word and every line. It's almost prescribed. It almost like seems like a controlled Oppo account. It like just a person who's literally running counter and misinformation. It's very straight. Look at these. I mean, look how formulaic his entire feed is. I've never seen a Twitter feed like this. This just reads like, somebody who collects somebody's skin. It's just weird. If you guys ever seen the movie Seven with Kevin Spacey and just the meticulous books that this guy kept, this guy comes off as that way. He's hitting NBC Nightly News. He tagged thousands. Nightly News, Obama, White House, President Biden, Tulsi Gabbard, Vivek Ramaswamy, Chris Christie, tens of thousands of people this guy tagged. He tags Blinken, he tags Zelensky, Dmitry Muratov. It's insane. But you can see a lot of this is just like pro-Ukrainian support, recruiting, public opinion on geopolitical situations, denouncing Donald Trump, world leaders. It's really interesting. A lot of Ukrainian stuff. So a lot of people are making the connection that this guy's a Ukrainian assassin. No, knock it off. That's not. This guy was pro-Ukraine, okay? Like most liberal, batshit crazy people is that they're indoctrinated to hate Trump, to love Ukraine, denounce that Russia is involved in everything bad in the world. And I'm not going to disagree. Russia's a piece of shit country. I spent many years working counterintelligence against Russians, and I'm not a big fan. But to sit here and say that Russia is responsible for everything bad in the world, it's just as crazy as the people saying that Jews are responsible for everything bad in the world. This goes on for days. Let me show you one more thing, and then we'll get to some comments from everybody. And then I've got some interesting stuff to show you. Here is something that I put up last night, which was one of them, which was really the most telling to me. POTUS, your campaign should be called something like KADAF, Keep America Democratic and Free. Trump's should be MASA, Make American Slaves Again Master. Democracy is on the ballot, and we cannot lose. We can't afford to fail. The world is counting on us to show the way. Guy had a permanent IV of CNN into his bloodstream, it looks like. I've seen the body cam footage. Also, I'll be showing that too. So I got your back, folks. We're going to get to all of it. Here's a couple pictures close up. And because this guy didn't shoot anybody, killed anybody, I'm going to put his photo up. Very strange.
He wears a lot of American flags.
Yeah, but he's also traveling in foreign countries. You know what I mean? So a lot of those are in foreign pictures in foreign countries. So that's in Ukraine, the one on the left, and the one on the right, that is also in Ukraine. So, you know, the guy definitely wanted to be seen as an American citizen. This is fake. Somebody just put this up here. LGBT, ACAB, proud dad, proud LGBTQ member. This is fake. If you've seen this, this is a lie. Does anyone want to tell me why it's a lie? Who can tell me why it's a lie?
Because he only has 5 followers.
Go deeper. Yeah. Go deeper. Don't go deeper. Keep it simple. It's in the first
5 posts. Yeah.
No, it's in his photo. It says new.
Oh, yeah.
It's fake. So it's like, come on, people. I'm just trying to get through some of dispelling information. I also have the supposed affidavit from the whistleblower at ABC. We'll be covering that. I still hold true that there is no whistleblower at this point. If there is, that whistleblower is completely under lock and key, and I don't believe this affidavit in any way, shape, or form, because it's not an affidavit. It's a very clever Word document. It's not spaced properly. It's not paralegal approved. It's indentation between paragraphs is not. You guys got to understand, when you write a formal letter, especially for the U.S. government, especially for a district attorney's office, there is a format that is absolutely must, and there's court orders that it has to be prepared in a certain way. This is not that. This affidavit is somebody who said they were going to provide a whistleblower's testimony and went ahead and wrote this and then made it look genuine. I can't believe I'm the only one to do it. All the conservatives are like, oh yeah, this is real. It's 100%. Benny Johnson says it's real. Everybody, the major publications, Daily Wire, myself, Daily Wire, Megyn Kelly, Dave Rubin, those people have not adopted this, but 100%, most conservatives are all over this. Want to show you another video here of his arrest, and then we can get into this. And then there's some other questions I have. All right. Also, people said that Governor DeSantis is opening up his own investigation. He is. The state of Florida is opening up its own investigation at the behest of a lot of people who put pressure on DeSantis to do so. The fact that they're saying that DeSantis has refused to give up Routh to federal authorities, and he says, nope, it's Florida's. No, that's not true. That's a complete lie. DeSantis had nothing to do with it. Florida Police Department, Sheriff Department released him into federal custody, and he's no longer in police custody. So he's federal custody now, and he's been that way. So anyone who's saying that Ron DeSantis refused and he's ready to fight a civil war over this, you people are making it bullshit, as usual. So in 2002, Routh was arrested for possessing a weapon of mass destruction.
I heard that.
So he got probation for it. Now, I want people to understand, in North Carolina, a sawed-off shotgun is a weapon of mass destruction, okay? So that's North Carolina. So possessing a firearm with a modification that isn't legal is a weapon of mass destruction. But
Right.
usually a weapon of mass. Go ahead.
I heard it was just a fully automatic weapon that he possessed.
Yeah,
So.
it's usually a modified weapon also. But usually it's something that's nuclear, radiological, biological, or something that's designed to do mass harm. And a fully automatic weapon is designed to do mass harm. I mean, every gun's designed to do mass harm, let's be honest, especially in the hands of somebody who knows how to use it. Here is a copy, which you can find if you do a standard bio and background check for job employment. You can look up his history. He hasn't been scrubbed yet, but his police record's here, and it's long. But this shows you April 23rd, 2002, possessed weapon of mass destruction. Now, if I'm the FBI and I have an attempted assassination effort against Donald Trump, and it just happened in Butler, I am going to run an NCIC on every single state I go to. I'm going to be checking flight records of, the 30,000 people who are in this database. And the moment that this guy dropped and landed in Florida, the moment he rented a car, the moment he did anything, what people need to ask the question is, where did he get the weapon? So if he bought a weapon and the serial, I think it's called obliteration of the serial numbers. Whenever you take serial numbers off of a gun, it is a very serious crime. I mean, it is a crime in itself. And a lot of places in a lot of states will actually file, first degree or second degree murder charges. It immediately moves the murder to premeditated. It moves it to premeditated. So it's first or second degree murder if you use that weapon. If you have it with drugs, and it can be an attempted murder charge. So it's serious. You don't take the serial numbers off a weapon. So they're charging him right now with, I think it's obliteration of a weapon serial number and a gun possession while having felonies. I have a feeling more is going to come. Those are just the initial charges so they can hold him. And more charges will come from the district attorney. So all the way from vagrancy to attempted murder. There's a lot that this guy is going to get charged with, and it's not going to be just obliteration of a serial number or possessing a weapon while felony. This guy's going to go to prison for a while.
Did his car have stolen plates?
I don't know. I have no idea. And here's the thing. We don't know if he rented a car. If he did, I mean, they're going to check GPS. They're going to check eNav on all of that. They're going to go ahead and check his cell phone data. I don't know if you guys know this, but your cell phone, I mean, it's not just what you have on it, it's where you've been. I mean, it tracks every movement that you do. The bio data that it produces is ridiculous. And that's why a lot of people don't carry cell phones who don't want to be seen. So they're going to check all of those things. And they'll know all of his movements. They'll retrace his steps. They're going to look at his bank accounts. They're going to seize his bank accounts, his home, any property. They're going to look at all past receipts, deposits. They're going to find out if this guy was bankrolled and find out by whom. But this guy was over in Ukraine. That's immediately which would bother me, is that he was in a foreign country. He showed obvious is a key person who I would flip as an asset in intelligence. If I'm working counterintelligence, I'd grab this guy and I'd flip him. If I was a foreign intelligence apparatus, I would find him, I would flip him, I would fund him, and I would use him exactly for something like this. If that was what our government wanted to do. Go ahead, Amy.
Yeah, exactly my thoughts. And I don't know a lot about that stuff, obviously, but they will take anyone in Ukraine. Like, they literally are putting people with Down syndrome, like physical handicaps, mental, like they're putting anyone to fight their war for them. I've seen tons of videos. So if this guy wasn't accepted to go fight on the front lines, he seems like he's in decent shape.
Oh, he's in very good shape. The guy, he's like 6 to 8% body fat.
Right. So why would they decline him to fight on the front lines as what he wished to do? I think there is something underlying there, potentially. I mean,
yeah,
it just doesn't add up. Why would they say no to him? It seems like they were using him as something. I don't know what, but it doesn't add up to me.
Yeah. Well, here's his rap sheet. Possession of stolen goods, felony, class H, Consolidated for judgment, possession of stolen goods, driver's license revoked, carry concealed weapon principle, miscellaneous motor vehicle violation, carry concealed weapon principle. I mean, it's got everything here. A hit and run, resisting officer arrest, motor vehicle infraction, larceny, barricading himself in a house with a weapon. Or inside his business, excuse me. Our man was arrested Monday morning after barricading himself in a business. Ryan Routh, 36, was arrested without incident 1 a.m. Monday at United Roofing. Another roofing company. I know United Roofing. It's interesting, man.
Do we know how long he's been back in the U.S. from the Ukraine?
Yeah, I'm going to try to find that out for you here. He was pulled over about 10 p.m. Sunday during a traffic stop, police said, but he put his hand on a firearm and drove to United Roofing, where he remained barricaded inside. Routh was charged with carrying a concealed weapon and possession of a weapon of mass destruction, referring to a fully automatic machine gun. I can't stand when people say fully automatic machine gun. My God, it's automatic. It's not full. Fuck. He was also charged with resisting, delaying, and obstructing a law enforcement officer driving while license revoked. So this guy was on the radar. I mean, seriously. It's my understanding he was uncooperative. It's my understanding he's not sharing details right now. That's only going to last for so long. And he will obviously play ball. He'll have to. Because in my opinion, you treat him like a foreign asset. You treat him as a domestic terrorist. And now you have a whole other slew of charges, international charges you can put on him. You can interrogate him. You can kind of waive his due process and treat him like J6er. Isn't it hilarious that they put J6ers for going into a building and they suspend them and call them domestic terrorists, but this fucking guy has every single right that J6ers didn't have. And you know me, how I feel about J6. I think that was the dumbest thing we could have done as Republicans, but it's kind of weird. This guy tries to kill the president of the United States, former president of the United States, and he's not a domestic terrorist. It doesn't make any sense to me. Yeah.
So a lot of people are bringing up his son, and I'm sure everyone has heard his comments. Do you think they're doing an investigation into the son? Because based on his son's comments, that boy is either estranged from his father and has been for his lifetime and has no idea about his father, or he also has some mental health issues because he's not seeing the forest for the trees there. So
yeah, well, let me explain this. First of all, every son wants to protect their father, and every father wants to protect their son. That's a given, right? I'll stand by my son, and if he does something that's horrendous, I'll still stand by him, but I'll turn him in.
Yes.
But I'll stand by him. I'll stand by him, but I'm going to turn him in. There's no solace from the law. If you broke the law and you're being persecuted or you did it, either way, you turn yourself in and you face the music, and we'll fight it together. And I'll use everything in my power to assist. What's interesting to me is I think people need to understand is that there are cases of people living a double life for 40, 50 years who have another wife, another family, and the other family does not know. Homicidal maniacs and killers. There was that killer in Delaware who wound up killing 35 different women up and down the East Coast, and nobody knew. No, you're okay. I do it all the time. I got a toothpick right here. So people live double lives, and that just makes me think even more that this guy is more than he appears to be. Okay, because to be able to finance your own transportation to go to Ukraine as a roofer, you see his house. I understand it's meek, it's modest, but it's just weird. And then to be all dressed up by the nines in a $3,000 suit. Where did he get a weapon? Which contact did he has? That somebody who's selling firearms illegally in Florida or in Carolinas or wherever he came from? Because he just flew from Hawaii. Does he have another location where he stored his weaponry? There's a lot of questions here. And to me, it doesn't pass the sniff test. Like the kid in Butler, that totally passed the sniff test. I don't believe that kid was a foreign asset. I don't believe he was bankrolled. I believe he was just some stupid fucking kid who got away with a very negligent DEI hired Department of Homeland Security non-secret service agents who did a 2-hour telecourse on how to defend people. That's what that looks like. This guy has an agenda. He has a payroll. He has transportation. He had an exit strategy. All these things to me, this guy, there's something wonky about him and his demeanor. Watch this. I know I'm doing a lot of just kind of reporting here, and I'm sorry about that, but I want to give as much information, and especially to you and Olivia too, so you guys can see what's going on. Watch this. It's a nice rig, by the way.
Driver! Take 2 steps to your right! Take 2 steps to your right! Hey, come back. Driver! Walk straight back! Keep walking! Keep that long.
Yeah, those are professionals, by the way. Those are ex-military. Single file, hand on shoulders, stacked. That kid who's literally like 6'6" and weighs 104 pounds and has arms like an Ethiopian. A kid, get a flak jacket that fits. If you take a round, you're going to break every fucking rib in your chest. So have that thing tight to your body. It's loose. That's going to do you no good. So you might want to go ahead and learn how to wear a flak jacket. That's obviously the only civilian in this equation was this kid. Just here.
I didn't see him.
Yeah, just he's the one that's screaming.
Okay.
He's the marching.
Yeah.
He's the one that's screeching.
Driver! Take 2 steps to your right! Take 2 steps to your right! Hey, come back. Driver! Walk straight back! Keep walking!
Yeah, you don't want to be wearing loose body armor. Just FYI, kiddo. So, otherwise, you can tell they're all ex-military. They're stacked well. They're trained. When found guilty, what do you think his punishment will be? Is there a mandatory sentence for attempted murder of presidents? It depends if they classify him as a domestic terrorist. If they find that there is some sort of money that is from an overseas entity, he'll be charged as a domestic terrorist for sure. An international terrorist, which is even worse because then you got extradition. Has he done this before anywhere else? What is his MO? Has he been taking money for assassination attempts and shit like this? I mean, this guy to me just screams, in my opinion, as somebody who almost is like a hitman for hire, type thing, but not like the movies, right? Kind of like a Magoo. Like
Yes.
This is like a Magoo type, like just completely like he reminds me of a wannabe weekend soldier.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like he's just crazy enough. It's like, oh, hey, that's that guy down the street
Right.
of Dollar,
Right. Weekend, like a person who does survival. He does paintball on the weekends type stuff, but, and then, tries to put himself as a contract killer. And then he literally outs himself to the FBI undercover in the first 5 minutes of his career. Who's on the phone?
Oh, it's your favorite conspiracy theorist from Canada.
Oh gosh.
Hi,
How you
Mel.
doing, Mel?
Hi, Mel.
Oh, I love that response, but that's okay.
No. I love having you on. I'm just wondering what we're going to be talking about tonight. Go ahead.
Well, I'm just going to throw this out there into the ether world about, is this going to be another Epstein, whatever? Is he not going to make his time out of jail? Yeah.
Yeah, I have no doubt he will. This doesn't scream clandestine black bag government up. Here's what I've tried to tell people. Holy shit, that's huge. Thank you, the Ban Hammer, for $5. Appreciate you, Amy.
Yes, thanks.
here's what I'll say quickly, and I want to get everyone else's thoughts on this too. If Israel is responsible, he's dead. If Russia's responsible, he's dead. If Ukraine's responsible, he's dead. If the United States government's involved, he's dead. People keep saying, oh, this is a government. Dude, okay, the government is good at really one thing: spending your money and killing people. Let's just be honest, okay? United States government is extremely effective at killing people. It's done a fantastic job throughout its entire existence. It has no problem with knocking off world leaders. It has no problem taking out opposition. It has no problem creating patsies. It has no problem doing wet works for the CIA, okay? So I'm just letting you know, if they wanted Trump dead, he'd be dead. I truly believe that the first assassination attempt was a complete fuddled mess from a kid who was just fucked up as Hogan's goat and watched way too many movies and played too many video games. This guy is just a certified fucking wacko who had a basic skill set that made him look like, when everyone was saying, oh, this guy's a pro, I told you, no, he's not. And I could look at his nest and know he wasn't a pro. But I told you what he was. I said, this guy has some basic knowledge. I did a psychological profile on this guy in 5 minutes. And I'm sorry, but pretty much everything I said on my Saturday show was correct. I don't think there's anything that I got wrong. I called the ceramic tiles before it happened. I called the weapon. I called the selection. I called his range, called his location, told you where he was. Told you he'd been there for a while. Told you that this guy was kind of a loner, a little bit of an enigma, strange, off-putting. All those things seem to be true. Mel, you called in, so let's give you your time.
Well, I sent a picture to the Mud's chat or the live chat, whatever, about the little area where the whole scenario was supposed to have come from. And I went, and I call it creative landscaping. So
yeah,
I'm like, so if you can take a look at that picture, and I'm like, so, and he had been there for 12 hours. So the guy had a mission. Yes, it is whatever, but I'm really like, I think, and this is my opinion.
Mel, I can't see Mud chat, by the way, so you're gonna have to send it in main chat, or Olivia.
No. Well, I sent it to the live Mud chat, so Olivia will see it. Oh. So she'll see the picture in there. But anyways,
send it to me, baby.
I'm like, I smell a rat, like I really like whatever, because nobody knew other than very few people, and it was very small, and it's probably a dozen, that he was going to go golfing that morning. So where is this guy getting his intel from? Yeah. And actually, Dan Bongino brought it up, whatever, because he's done all these whatever.
Yeah, what did Dan say? Can walk me through. That's what I'm really interested in. I didn't get a chance to watch Dan today, and I was really to see if we lined up. What did Dan say?
Dan is calling a rat. He says there's somebody that's close,
yep,
that's in the whatever,
yep,
and they're either sleeping with somebody or whatever, because
yep.
He's already done this once before with a Russian agent back in the day. And he says, I'm the only one. I said, I know you are, well, listening to him, whatever. I'm like, because he's the only one that's out on the network that has done these details and has done these for all these different presidents.
That's right.
And I'm like, so I'm like,
well, he's not
calling it. He said, there's a rat that's really close to where Donald is.
I also want to say this is that he's not the only one who has connections in the Secret Service. He is the only active. No. Yeah, I know. I just want to be for my viewers, please.
Yeah.
He is the only active Secret Service agent of this magnitude who is exposing things and has real-time analysis. But Dan and I usually line up on most of our stuff, and I don't know Dan, and we don't even talk. I don't even watch his stuff because I don't have time. But most of the time, and I completely agree with him, and I'll tell you why. We said there was a rat, and Leroy and I talked about, if you remember, Mel, when we were talking about the document scandal and how the Secret Service, they had intel of locations of documents and everything else, that there was a rat inside his Secret Service detail. And how I know this is I don't even think I'm going to go one further with Dan, because I've talked to people in the Secret Service, and I've actually talked to a U.S. Marshal who's on his detail too. I actually know U.S. Marshals on Donald Trump's detail in Florida. And his father and uncle, we have breakfast with them all the time. So Olivia and I, have a relationship, but it's not the point. The point is, well, I have a relationship, but she knows that I had a chance to talk to that U.S. Marshal and sit down with him. And I even told you guys about that. And I can't put his name out there or anything. But what I do know is I think if you ask Dan specifically, do you think it's Secret Service or do you think it's Department of Homeland Security? I think Dan would probably say Department of Homeland Security. It's Mayorkas that DHS was put on his detail in particular, and there's somebody who's loyal to Mayorkas who's leaking information. I'll take it one step further. And it might be an SS guy or USS guy, but to me, I think there's too much opportunity with the Department of Homeland Security on his detail. Mel, your thoughts?
Well, today he drilled in more, and he thinks it's on the SS side.
Oh, okay.
And
okay.
he was like,
What? It's okay. Hold on one second, Mel. JD says, Dan said the guy is getting in from inside. Also, he said he called that this would happen again. He's not the only one who called. It's always amazes me. He's not the only one who called this was happen again. I told you 4 years ago this was going to happen. I told you they're going to try to break him financially. I told you they're going to break him, try to get him criminally. I told you they're going to try to destroy his character. I told you what they were going to do with the Avenatti and Stormy Daniels and E.G. Carroll and the misdemeanors that they were going to turn into felonies. And I told you they're going to kill him. I've said that for 4 years before Bongino was talking about it, before anyone was talking about it, because they couldn't allow him to live. When they say he has to be stopped at all costs, that includes killing him. I just want to make sure, and JD, I'm not saying you can't give Dan props, but it always shocks me. People are like, dude, Dan called this. And I'm like, can you give your freaking main guy a little love a little bit? All right, go ahead.
Yeah, no. All of you guys have called this, whatever. But today, Dan even went, he says, because I've done these, he says, there's somebody, because there was only less than 10 people that knew that he was going to go golfing that morning. So there was a release. It's the window.
There's more than 10 people who knew he was.
Magnifying glass is gone a whole lot smaller. There's something. Okay. There's somebody. There's a rat. There's a rat somewhere.
Okay, I want to make sure. I want to make sure I get this clear. Mel, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but whenever we say something that isn't accurate, I've got to correct you. There's more than 10 people who knew that Donald Trump was going to go golfing. Lindsey, hold on a second. Lindsey Graham knew. Sean Hannity knew. And I can name another 5 people who knew that weren't even there. Rick Scott knew.
Was golfing
but
that day.
They all knew where he was, and it's not now Secret Service by far would be the easy culprit, but they need to scrub every Instagram account, Facebook account. They need to see who was in his inner circle that took photos and said, oh my God, we're coming home to Florida. There are so many ways to find out intel. These people overshare their lives. And I'm with Dan. I think there's somebody in the Secret Service who, multiple people who don't really care what happens to Trump and they don't like Trump. But I think it also is Department of Homeland Security. I think it's also people in his campaign staff that can't be trusted. I think he's surrounded by enemies. And like Caesar, there's a lot of daggers coming for his back.
Well, exactly. And it was the same when he was in office for 4 years. They I totally feel so, well, sorry is not a good word, but I'm like, oh my God, like you got in with a whatever, and they were killing you right off the bat. And that's what this is all about, except they want it physically now, not through the process. They're literally trying to kill this guy, and that's where the problem lies. I think he's the only ones he can trust are his family. Really, is there anybody around him that he can trust? And
no.
For him to keep standing up there and going and to take whatever, cat only has 9 lives, and now the cats are off limits from Springfield. I'm like, I don't know about his cat 9 lives, but this to me right now is just after number 2 in 7 weeks this is not boding well, and it's only going to get worse. That's my take. But I know there's a rat on the inside.
Of course, I believe there's somebody on the inside who's leaking information. I think the mistake from Trump is him trusting anyone. Even out before these assassination attempts after 2020, he shouldn't trust anybody. I mean, where's Giuliani? Where's Giuliani? Where's the Kraken? Where's Steve Bannon? Where's Manafort? Where's Manafort? Where are these people? These people are either in jail or they've abandoned him, and they're the ones that set him up. They're the ones that convinced him that this election was stolen and lied to him. And I've been trying to tell you for 4 fucking years, people, that he's being lied to, and and where to look, and the numbers are there. And I can't wait till November 5th because I'm going to be vindicated. When you see 27 to 32 million less votes than you did in 2020, everyone just gets to go, oh, you know what, Matt? I'm really sorry. And not anyone who watches me currently, because you've been sticking with me. It's the people who, insulted me, insulted my family, insulted my show, called me a coward and a traitor, and all. You can all come back and kiss my pucker.
A lot of people are saying that. A lot of people are saying that when Trump goes home to Mar-a-Lago, he usually goes golfing on Sunday. So I'm wondering, being public, common knowledge.
Yeah,
that's why he sat there for 12 hours, maybe.
Well, here's the thing. When they track his movements, they're going to see, in my opinion, you're going to find this out, that he has sat in multiple locations or he has been there multiple times waiting. See, if you know something for certain, okay, all you have to do is, like Novocaine, is apply and wait, and it works. So if he knows that Trump is guaranteed to be at some place every 30 days, then you go there every weekend and you wait. And you go, oh, shit, well, he's not here today. Listen to me. It's not difficult to find out where the president's at. And I'm not going to tell you how, but I could teach my 14-year-old to figure out where Donald Trump is. At any given moment and any given day, I can tell you where he's at.
100%.
Yeah, he's flying in civilian aircraft. That's all you need to know. And it's...
and also, you have all the news media photographers that have been documented that they've been removed, or they sit up and they go into the same places where this guy was and various other sundry whatever to get snapshots of Donald Trump on his golf course, because you've seen them in social media over the last 5-10 years. But the picture I sent to Olivia was the picture of where the equipment or whatever was hung, and it looked like.
Oh, I showed this on my show.
It looks like,
Did you watch?
Selective
Did you watch Sunday?
Grooming. Yes, I did.
Okay, so I had a picture of this. This is a horrible. He did not have. There's no way he had line of sight. I've looked at every angle. There's no way he had line of sight of Trump. So he was probably waiting for him to get to 6 or 7 when he was on 5th. So this guy created essentially an ambush, and he was waiting for Trump to go through. He shot his load. If he was smart, he would have had in his nest the ability to look and watch, and you do not break out your optics, you do not break out your rifle until you're ready to fire. And for him to I still don't believe that they stuck a muzzle out of a fence and somehow Secret Service saw it. I don't buy that for a fucking minute. That is them covering their counterintelligence techniques. Yeah. And that's them. They got drones up, they got FLIR up, they had some sort of something up. And they're not going to divulge how they got that intel. And they would be stupid to do that because you're letting them know the inner workings of the Secret Service. But there's no fucking way a guy spotted a black barrel 8 inches poking out of a fence and said, there's a gun. That's just that's stupid as shit. I don't believe it at all.
No, I didn't believe that from the get-go. So I'm like, yeah, there's something that's not still, like I said, this stinks. This smells to fucking high heaven. Pardon my French.
No,
I'll
put
my 25 in Olivia's tip jar. But yeah, no, this stinks. There's something, and it's, to me, it's interior to the people that are pretending to be his his protection or his whatever. And I'm like, I don't buy any of this crap. Like, it's just, it makes no sense. Like, number 2 in 7 weeks. Okay, so you're getting 50 days and Kamala's paling. So we're going to go. I'm like, the only way to make this go is, but if he dies, Kamala's not getting in. There is no way in the world Kamala's getting in as the president of the United States.
Yeah.
Don't care. Like,
so,
no. Yeah, I know.
Okay.
I know you have a different opinion, but
no, I don't have it. I don't have a different opinion. I'm not providing an opinion on this because everything is plausible and everything isn't deniable as of yet because we haven't had enough timeline. I'm just giving everyone facts, right? I'm shooting down the shit that's fake because there's a lot of fake misinformation out there. I'm about ready to watch. Neva sent me a video we're going to watch real quick. You can stay on, Mel, listen to this if you want to.
I got a couple questions whenever.
Okay, give me the questions first. By the way, folks, we are so close to our goal. We're at 1997.47. And a goal of a night really is to do about 150, 200 a night. That really is where our sweet spot is. If y'all were right there to hit that 2,000 mark, it's a great milestone. It's early, which is good. We can certainly use it to make up for a little bit of a gap we had last month. Here's, give me the questions and then we'll do the video.
Well,
go ahead, Amy. Go ahead, Amy.
Oh, thank you to Andrea, I think it was, that just donated.
Yes, $10.80.
Yes.
That's a girl.
Can Trump get his own protection to assist his
Sure.
Secret Service, or is that a big no-no?
Sure, for $1 million a month. Yeah. For $1 million a month, he can. He already has a private security detail. And I'm not going to go into a whole bunch of detail, but he already has a lot of ex-soft guys who work for him at a very what we considered an unreasonable rate, but for what they do for him at a very reasonable rate. But in order for Trump to run a proper security detail, he needs 1,000 guys. You need a forward team. You need an advanced team that goes out 2 weeks before each location, and you need an Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, and Delta team. Those teams are made up of anywhere from 100 to 300 people, and those teams will go out and they will canvass everything. They'll check mailboxes. They'll make sure manhole covers. They will check radio traffic. They will do dossiers on every single person in the neighborhood. They'll run NCIC checks. They'll run Interpol checks. They'll go knock doors. They will check with landlords for any type of issues, any type of buildings that have been vacant, that have recently been leased. I mean, this shit is serious. Advanced teams are ridiculous, but that takes an extreme amount of manpower. And then what you'll see is a secondary team come in and they'll run the checklist. And that secondary team is kind of like your Bravo team. Bravo team comes in and they would check it from more of a training perspective and more of a redundancy perspective to ensure that every box was checked. And then the Alpha team comes in. That Alpha team is going to be your guys who are working the ground, the guys who are working snipes, the guys who are working comms, the guys who are running medvac and emergency response teams. You'll have a Secret Service team of his own doctors, blood banks, everything ready to go, ready to deliver him to a point of an undisclosed origin if something happens. You'll have a QRT team there, quick ready force, QRF, QRT, spun up team to be there. I mean, in order to do it, he needs $1 million a month. It's more than that. It would be like 10 million a month. It's extremely fucking expensive to run security. Like, I would do it if I was qualified. I'm just not qualified. It's not like I haven't been involved in OPSEC. It's not that I haven't run counterintelligence. It's just that it's not. I'm not in the game. I haven't been in the game in 30 years. Yeah, Olivia and I were talking tonight where they're talking about expanding the Secret Service, and I said, you know what? I'm in good enough shape. I'm 50 years old. I could do that job, and I can go body man for him for 5 years. I would do it. But I'm old. So people are like, Trump needs Matt. No, he doesn't. Trump needs people like Eli Crane. Trump needs ex-team guys, soft guys, MARSOC guys who understand operational security at a far deeper level than I ever could. I'm just good at it because I'm a master of studying everything that I can and learning and constantly improving myself. So, but it would be horribly expensive. What was the next one?
The other one was, how do you catch a mole?
How do you catch a mole? Oh, now this is something I do know how to do. So there's multiple ways you can do it. Thank you, Kyung. We appreciate you, buddy. You
Thanks,
the man.
Kyung.
There's several ways to catch moles. I know Mel will have some thoughts on this too with her experience and intelligence. But honestly, the easiest way that a lot of people think you catch a mole is by releasing, 5 different memos, and you change and put a double space after a period on a group of 10 people, and then do a capital, miss a capital, or misspell a word, or put a little watermark in the top right hand corner, and then distribute that information. And whatever group of 10 leaks one of the memos that you ultimately change the characteristic on, you can assign it to that group and go, okay, well, this hashtag wasn't on there, so now we know it was these 10 of people. Now we can go ahead and narrow our search, and then you wiretap those people, you check their bank accounts, you go ahead and run checks behind them, and you find out who it is. That is spy novel bullshit. Because people aren't leaking internal memos, they're not taking photos. This isn't a Snowden thing. The reason why Snowden did it is because he could. Snowden had a way to get the hard drive out, and effectively this is now no longer possible because there are no entry points for hard drives and data disks and any way to copy. All these servers are autonomous and completely locked down. But either way, multiple ways to catch a mole. Really, it's your need to know list. And it's the information that you allow to go out to who. And what you'll be able to find is that you can backtrack and look at certain pieces of intelligence that were consistent, and you can narrow a list of, say, 3,000 people knew this information. Well, you can go and check multiple instances where there was a leak, and then go and who was read in on that. And you'll start getting consistencies. Now you narrow that 3,000 to 300. Then you find some other information where you went ahead and you let something, maybe it's TSI, maybe it's just a top secret briefing, or maybe it's a debrief. And then you cross-reference that between, 7 or 8 different debriefs, and you realize, okay, well, these people had that information set, and now you've narrowed that list down to 30. And then you go ahead and you take that 30, and you can either do controlled release, or you can actually sometimes maybe pull back on their information. And then these people will start demonstrating certain behaviors. When you limit people's knowledge and who are seeking to release information, they'll start fishing for it. They'll start demonstrating behaviors of not being very cautious or overly cautious, or just show behaviors that aren't indicative of who they are. And this is another great way. When you're putting people on surveillance, you can check their voices, you can check their message traffic, you can check impedance and stress factors in their overall vocals. You can actually do a lot of things to identify when somebody is under stress. So once you get that list down to a certain point, and then the mechanics of counterintelligence will kick in, where you will start doing spot checks on every single person to get that down to a lower end. But when you are under a microscope of 30 people make mistakes, and they make them all the time. And when you're being watched and people are up your ass with a microscope, you're going to figure out pretty quick where the leak is. One last thing, the internal investigation to find a mole is really hard for that body to do it. Like Secret Service probably wouldn't do an internal investigation to find a mole. They'll bring in a secondary agency like the NSA, or they'll bring in DOD or CIC, or they'll bring in other investigative bodies, Office of Naval Intelligence, and other groups, because these people have a different way, and they aren't ingrained in the network, and they can see opportunities better than somebody who's actually involved in that agency 24/7. Mel, what did I miss?
No, you didn't miss anything. The other thing is, the only one thing I would say is there's a little bit maybe easier, whatever, is just to cut out the inside, like whatever. Just talk to your family and say, okay, I'm going for lunch, and not tell Secret Service or whatever until 30 minutes before, wherever it is that you are going to go, or you're going to go golfing, 30 minutes before, and then watch the scramble, and then watch the traffic that goes out from that. And there you're going to find the really close person that's whatever. And that's just how kind of.
No, that's absolutely on a narrowed view, right? But the problem is a lot of agencies don't.
Very narrow.
Yeah, a lot of agencies don't have the manpower to go ahead and watch 30,000 people, 3,000 people, 300 people. So getting it narrowed, it's just like basically shaving and planing a piece of wood. You just continue to take off layers. But what somebody said was feed bad information. The problem is bad information doesn't get leaked. So a lot of people are just like feed bad intel. Well, bad intel isn't juicy enough for people to actually get caught. So the thing is that these people, if they're going to leak, they've been instructed by news agencies. They've been instructed by whatever agency of the things not to do, and they're running counterintelligence themselves. Some of the best spycraft ever done, and people who have conducted treason against the United States were taught in counterintelligence measures by the KGB, the Politburo, or the Spetsnaz, or whatever was running these ops, and would teach these people how to effectively run tradecraft. And
100%.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and that's the thing. And when we were doing asset acquisition overseas and trying to get people to, basically belly up on whatever unit that we wanted to infiltrate, these are the same tactics that we would do is we would teach tradecraft to people and ensure that they understood that if they were going to provide information, these are the necessary steps. These are the things you do. These are the things you don't do. And if you don't want to get caught and you don't want to be thrown into a prison, you don't want to be executed, here are the steps that you're going to want to do. Do I think it's at this level? Do I think there's some foreign apparatus inside the Secret Service? No. Do I think that there are people inside of our own government who are leveraging certain bodies of agencies that Donald Trump works with every day to garner his every move, and people are profiting off this? Yeah, absolutely, I do.
Oh, 1,000%. And this is internal. This is not foreign government shit. This is right inside his own government. Like,
right.
And the one that hopefully he's going to take over in November, and it's there, and it's got to be I don't know what he's going to do or how he's going to do it. I don't know how it's going to be physically or whatever possible to root out all this crap, but he can start as I don't know where do you start in something that's so ingrained and corrupt and so deep. And when they see deep state, it's so deep. People have no idea how deep this goes. And nobody will ever know, because are probably long gone into the hereafter. Before
we still don't even know about Kennedy. We don't know about Kennedy, but somehow we're going to get the truth about Palmer and give me a break. My point is this: is that some of this is speculative. Some of this is, I've said it 100 times. If they wanted Trump dead, he'd be dead. I'm sorry. This is ridiculous to think that our government's trying to kill Trump. But do I believe that there are people who are paid by reporters that get 1,000 or get a C note or whatever just to release some information? Or do I believe there's somebody in his club who does? Yes, absolutely, of course. Folks, Donald Trump had a private conversation with Vladimir Zelensky. That entire conversation was released. You don't understand. 3 can keep a secret if 2 are dead. Benjamin Franklin said it best. You don't keep secrets. Yep. And the United States government can't keep a secret to save its fucking life. Obama dead was released before the government said a word. Obama dead was released. I knew that they were using stealth choppers before the government said anything. I saw it live on TV, and I told Olivia, oh my God, that's a stealth chopper. And I slapped my mouth when I said it. Because I literally it was a piece of classified information that was still classed. And I'm like, fuck, I cannot believe I just told my wife that. And I'm sitting there just going, dude, I can't believe you just said that. Because her mom was on the phone. I mean, your mom remembers that. I mean, I was just like, oh my God, that's the stealth chopper. And I was like, oh shit, what the fuck, dude? What are you doing opening your mouth? So the government, we can't keep secrets, dude. People say they can keep a secret. So, all right, Mel, I'm going to watch a video.
I got a question.
We'll see you soon, buddy. Thanks for calling.
Thanks, Mel.
Thanks, Mel.
Love you.
Thank you. Bye.
Was the agent that spotted the gun sticking out of the fence at the 5th hole with Trump?
No, this was a forward advance team. So this was a team that was basically a hole or 2 ahead, checking out the area. So they were doing their job. But if you're going into brush, you need a dog. You need a dog. There should be motion sensors on these golf courses that they go to. I mean, there's plenty of things they could do to ensure that this guy doesn't get line of sight and doesn't get into a fence. So it's my understanding that they were patrolling the area and they spotted him and they opened fire. Okay.
Got it.
All right. Quickly show this video. Ladies, I appreciate it. I feel like we're discovering a lot of this together. So I feel like it's kind of more of an informative show. This was sent by Neva, who sent this to me. And she said she wanted me to watch it. So I figured I'd save it for tonight. Here it is. Maybe. Where's the volume? God, I hate Instagram. Have I ever told you how much I hate Instagram?
I do too.
So the new Trump assassin just dropped, and there's some spicy details already. Ryan Routh, very strange guy who's lived a very strange life.
All right. So I'm already done. Do you want me to watch this? Okay, I'll watch this. Spicy details, huh? Okay.
Sounds
And this
like a
time,
romance novel.
Yeah, and cut your fucking hair, hippie.
the internet was wise and archived all of his socials as much as possible before the
Right here.
FBI took it all down. So here's some basics on what we know about him and one really interesting rabbit hole about who he might be. Right off the bat, though, it's super early. This is all speculative. Take your time, pump the brakes.
All right, I take back what I said. That's much better. I like that. See, that's what I like. Okay, I'm sorry, big guy. I'm sorry, look-alike Jesus. I apologize.
Just digging through dirty laundry. We don't know what sticks yet. But this guy is a private American citizen who traveled to Ukraine on his own dime, to help recruit civilian soldiers to fight for Ukraine and Afghan special forces. He was like recruiting on his Facebook page. Here's an archive of all of his tweets that look pretty damn automated to me. They pretty much all look like this. In a past life in Hawaii.
I now completely take back anything I said because I remember this guy's done another video and I loved it. So I want to retract my horrible, insensitive comments to my he, she, they, them, and say I'm sorry to my brother. I apologize. He's actually really good. He did a video. I can't remember what it was on, but he's actually fantastic. So I stand corrected and I apologize, good sir.
He apparently ran this company that made a single tiny home and a single Facebook page and never did anything else with it. Super weird. But I grabbed everyone that he followed on Twitter before they deleted it. He only followed 60. And right down at the bottom of that list, which I think indicates his first follow, is this girl named Sue Kim, who is ex-CIA, along with some other very interesting...
No, she's not.
Things. Now, again, reminder, this is just speculation, digging through Twitter dirt. Maybe.
This is the guy that broke down the groceries in the aisles and what was made in the United States and what was made overseas. And he would take a photo and like 96% was all foreign food. I love this fucking guy. I bow down. I admit my second mistake on this show. Sir, I bow down to you. You are an amazing brain. I am so sorry. Your presentation style is spot on, and my judgmental ass apologizes to you. I feel horrible. What a stupid thing I said. I apologize. Humble pie. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Mustache Jesus.
This chick is just a wonderful, patriotic person that's helping America. Who knows? But her account is private, meaning why does he follow her? I've been digging around in one of my...
So... Hold on. I want to see something. Where is the... I hate
So the new
Instagram.
Trump assassin just dropped, and there's some spicy details already.
Where's the
Ryan
fucking
Routh,
forward video?
Very strange guy who's lived a very strange life. And this time...
Okay.
The internet was wise and archived all of his socials as much as possible before the FBI took it all down. So here's some basics on what we know about him and one really interesting rabbit.
I'm done with this shit. Oh, Matthew, you're so smart. How you do that? Love you long time. Make you holla.
So the new Trump assassin, various countries, politics of the...
The reason I was looking is I wanted to see what this lady... CIA Corporation. Okay.
I've been digging around, and one of my followers said that they found her in the people that follow him back. I have not been able to confirm that for myself because they took the account down. If you've got a video of the 1.2 thousand followers that followed him, that would be great to know. He says that she was at the bottom of his followed list, meaning that she followed him right when he made the account. That would make sense, seeing as she's at the bottom of his following list of who he follows too. I mean, every asset needs a handler. And when you go through some of these other affiliations here, you get what is essentially the CIA training grounds at Johns Hopkins University.
That's what I was scratching my head at up in the top bar, looking at those, some of those links. Yeah. So I will tell you that if a handler is running an asset, you're not going to follow that person on Facebook and tell them you're a handler. I'm just letting you know. To me, it screams just so blatantly fucking weird. But I am aware of, there's also another, I don't know if he's going to get to this, but the top at amperstamp Twitter space is also with Rand Corporation, a red flag for me. We'll see if he covers it.
Explores the relationship between politics and the many kinds of military power, from the use of terror by small non-state groups to the threatened use of nuclear weapons. Its director is John McLaughlin, who is literally an ex-acting director of the CIA and ex-deputy director of the CIA, 3-decade career at the CIA. David is third on the list of people at the top of this institution at the university. 30-year career in Army Special Forces, various special operations, invading various countries, as well as Operation Enduring Freedom. You get the idea. Anyways, Rand Corporation, that's a military-industrial complex think tank, kind of like...
Yeah, this guy's good. So he already checked off both boxes that I was like, holy shit, when I saw. So yeah, this guy's fantastic. So this is where we just listen and just enjoy.
The Atlantic Council and LMI org. Yeah, that's like a military industrial complex education and training program as well. Preliminary findings on the internet when you search our homeboy, the shooter, show his arrest record, including in 2002, possession of weapons of mass destruction, Class F felony.
We already covered it.
Along with 3 other blocks of things like possession of handguns or concealed weapons and driver's license stuff. And yeah, that sounds like some operative shit to me. But again, we don't know any of this yet. We're just digging through dirty laundry on the internet. It's hard to tell what's real. But this is a photo of the weapon he used and the setup he had. People are speculating it looks an awful lot like...
It's not a Dragunov.
You know, Russian-Ukrainian class.
It's not a Dragunov. It's an SKS. It's not a Dragunov. I mean, come on, man. Seriously? That doesn't look even remotely like that at all. SKS has a profile of like a 22 rifle. A Dragunov basically looks like a fucking hockey stick that Gordie Howe would use.
Of rifle. He's doing these weird recruitment ops in Ukraine for civilians. Well, he's like posting on his Facebook all the time to like no followers about how he's recruiting hundreds of civilians to fight for Ukraine. Posting for like Afghan special forces to contact him so they can come fight in Ukraine. But he's like just a random citizen from Hawaii. And one of the 60 people he follows is this CIA gal that allegedly follows him back. That looks an awful lot like a handler or a contact. His account looks an awful lot like a bot or an MK Ultra.
Now remember, that's what I told you. Like his account is so clean and it's so systematic that like if I was working with crypto and I was assigned to profile this guy, I would have crypto run the algorithm to see if there were messages inside of this and a cadence inside of his posts that were communique that was different than what was actually being listed. Does everyone understand what I just said?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So if I'm running counterintelligence, he's absolutely right about this. The MK Ultra, that's a little bit of a stretch. I mean, everybody wants the MK Ultra mind control Manchurian candidate. To me, his account looks like 100% what he just said. Either a bot or there is a systematic message within the message if it's laid out in a certain way. And I would have crypto analyze this in a fucking New York minute.
Or a Pato, who knows what the hell this is. His criminal record looks an awful lot like what you might expect a kind of guy in this kind of line of work to leave behind. And then there's the weird video evidence getting turned up.
Officials in Kyiv simply aren't interested in recruiting them.
Ukraine is reluctant to be cooperative.
That's Ryan Ruth, a U.S. citizen who set up the International Volunteer Center in Ukraine to help connect foreigners to Ukrainian military units.
Now I'm talking to over 100 soldiers every day, and pretty much everybody, all of my contacts in Ukraine, they were adamant and pretty much yelled at me every time that I suggested that we.
Yeah, I mean, this isn't rabbit hole stuff, guys. I mean, this is all. I went through 6.5 hours of this last night, and just luckily a lot of the same things that I've shown you, he's showing you, which makes me feel good. I mean, this guy's exceptional at what he does. But there is definitely. I told you that you were going to see kind of some of the people who have been pro-Russia say this guy is 100% a Ukraine asset. There's definitely no doubt this guy has a hard-on for Ukraine. I mean, this guy felt like this. You heard him. His testimony was that this is a kind of good versus evil, his personal war. And there are a lot of civilians or former military who went over to Ukraine and fought willingly, donated their own personal armaments, went over there to fight. But to do this in front of the places that he's doing it, and he's in front of Washington, and he's in Kyiv, and then he's in Hawaii and in North Carolina, it's very weird. But the footprint here is also, it's opposite of what he's thinking. This guy is like thinking that this guy's CIA. To me, it seems like a cover story. Like everything is just laid out too perfectly. Like, you guys understand what I'm saying? It almost, I mean, this is what we would call an orgy of evidence. And you don't get orgies of evidence unless it's like Oswald or someone's being framed. Now, Oswald was an orgy of evidence. That was all fucking fictitious. I mean, ridiculous stuff. I mean, manipulated images. Fucking when Marina came back from her time with the CIA, FBI, she was so fucking drugged out. She was on so many barbiturates. They had programmed her ass completely. She was in essentially a truncated freaking concentration camp experience. And there's no doubt in my mind. They had her under lights. They had her under, interrogation techniques. They had programmed her ass. We weren't going to get word one out of her. You can look at his passports. You can look at the photos that were laid down in Mexico and South America that were not Oswald in any way, shape, or form. You can have the people laying down of where he's shooting and doing rifle practice, and he says he's going to kill the president. I mean, and this guy is all over the fucking place. I mean, they had Oswald's popping up all over the country. So an orgy of evidence usually is because it's intended to be that way. And this is too much. I mean, it's almost... I mean, this guy's got 30 fucking years of criminal records and having multiple weapons. You don't let somebody out of the country and internationally travel over to Ukraine. You don't let this guy go ahead and recruit. The State Department should have been all up his ass like white on rice. Yet none of that took place. It doesn't look like a CIA guy to me. It looks like a cover story to me. That's what it looks like.
Bring in Afghans.
The Ukrainian government didn't respond to our request for comment, but a source close to the officials in Kyiv told Semaphore that their top concern is the question of loyalty in the thick fog of war.
The biggest thing is spies. They're afraid that anybody and everybody is a Russian spy.
Shout out to some bitch I know on X, who currently has one of the best archives of all of his socials and accounts. There's a lot of other people doing good work right now. And again, I just want to clarify, I'm not trying to pretend like I've solved the case or like we know what's going on. We just have learned by now that the FBI is going to just cover everything up. And so it's up to us to try to dig everything out before they do. So that's what we're doing. And yes, it's ridiculous that that is even a set of sentences we have to say in America in 2024 when someone tries to kill the former and future president of the United States of America. And I mean, I can only imagine who might be backing up these operations to try to shoot him and who might be providing the intel and the access and the cover-ups, etc. So last thing I'll say, Ryan Routh, he's currently in custody. He was driving away in an SUV. They caught him. He's alive for now. And I just want to remind us all, Ryan Routh did not kill himself. If cameras malfunction outside of his cell, if he has a weird slipping accident, whatever happens, yeah, you know the story. 50 more days, my money's on at least one more attempt before we get there. So stay frosty. because the war machine desperately needs the wars to escalate, and they're not down with the MAGA Maha folks shutting down the wars. And they are ready to kill people, ready to assassinate, allegedly, apparently, theoretically, just jokingly, in order to perpetuate those wars.
Yeah, that's a bit much. But okay. The government doesn't need permission to go to war. So that's a bit much. So the ending kind of, everything else was outstanding. Like I said, if somebody works CIA and they're running knock or they're running some sort of clandestine operation, they're not leaving a paper trail. I'm just letting you know. These people work in the shadows. They don't work in the illuminated light. That was stupid. They don't work in illumination / they don't work in the light. Olivia, your thoughts? Amy, your thoughts? I'd like to hear that. That's a lot of information. I'd like to see what you think.
Amy, you go first.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm with you, Matt. I think I don't know this guy. It sounds like you are familiar with him.
Yeah.
He comes across as like a little bit out there, but I think he does bring up some good food for thought, I guess. I don't know how to. I'm just so just like you, and I have the relationship on a different level. I have a lot of friendships that are actual friendships with people in different 3-letter agencies. So I've had a lot of conversations with a couple of them over the last week before this even happened about other instances, about all the school crap going on in our country. That was my concern. Haven't really had a chance to touch on this. I do believe there's a lot going on within our government system, if you want to call it that. Our government is corrupt. It's been proven. I mean, I'm not saying that as like an attack on our government. It is corrupt. It is full of people who have DUIs, who are accused of domestic violence, who are accused of fraud, who are literally in court cases right now for all of these things. So do I put it past our government officials, the people who are supposed to be protecting us, to pull one over on all of us? No, I don't put it past anybody. I don't put it past anyone, government or not. Case in point, the last, I guess there's 4. I knew about 3 attempts on Trump's life. I did not know about one of them. And I actually forget which one that was. There was one in Arizona and then the 2 shooters. And there was a 4th one that I was not aware of until yesterday or today. I don't know. I feel like that's like a long way. I'm like literally beating around the bush here. This guy seems very credible with a lot of things. I don't really know who he is in or anything. But he raises a lot of good points, a lot of food for thought. I'll just say that. But
that's fair.
Yeah, I guess that's really it.
Well, I'll go ahead and take it a step further because the school shooting conversation, I can go ahead and talk about some things. Amy's referring to what I believe is a conversation that I had actually about a month ago. If you look at the overall threats in the United States to schools that have happened over the last 45 days, there's like a 3,000% increase in threats, and it's all over the United States. Every single state has red dots. And these are people making increased threats of school shootings. They are distracting. They are pulling resources. These things are, there's too many things happening for us not to sit here and assume that there's not other nefarious cause and effect taking place. And the reason why Amy is having a hard time, and I have a hard time, and Leroy have a hard time, it looks like we're retarded sometimes. I'm sorry to use the word retarded, but I apologize. But it does. Like when we're talking, it seems like we're like we're stuttering. Is we're trying to be very cautious of the people that we do speak with, because we are in a location where I can throw a rock at FBI, CIA, and 2 Secret Service agents. I can throw a rock at them. And so we are in the intelligence community of Washington, D.C. right here. And we are smack dab in the middle of it. And we build I build relationships, and I'm very careful with who I do and do not disclose, right? So we don't want to let any information. But I'm saying what she's saying is that there's something big happening. And it's not just the assassination attempts on Donald Trump. There is an effort to distract and to create unrest before the November election. There, in my opinion, there is a very large effort to create unrest. And
yes.
I'm letting you know that just the increase, I saw a map that was provided to me. I'm not going to put it up here because I don't have permission to use it because it's not an open source. That shows all the threats over the last 45 days in the United States. And there's like 3,000 different threats, and it's all over the map. It's everywhere. They just arrested a kid and went through, and this guy had a small arsenal.
Remind me off air to introduce you to somebody that I think will be a good. I think you'll be a good friend to this person.
I love sources. Totally down. Yes, yeah, absolutely. But yeah, this person that they just caught completely. Oh my God. It was arrested in Creekside Middle School. This student. And to me, this is about the gun narrative. This is about the Second Amendment. Look at this. This is a middle schooler.
Holy cow.
He's got an AR pistol. He's got a fucking scar. He has got a 22 MP5 sawed-off tack shotgun, swords, rapiers. He's got samurai swords, extended mags. It looks to be some of this stuff all looks to be like airsoft shit, you know? See the orange dots on these muzzles? So all of these things are this is like a replication MP5 over here, or it's in like an AK with a collapsible stock. You got a scar. But it's amazing.
I was gonna say some look like Nerf guns.
Well, that's what I just said. He's got a wrist rocket. He's got a ballistic mask for for paintball and stuff. But this guy makes multiple threats to his school, and they're taking this stuff and saying,
I just sent a text. I'll be right back. Sorry.
Go for it.
Sorry.
And you know, the guy said it was all a joke. So it's like there seems to be like an increase in pranks, an increase in, you know, are they real? No. They're orange tip. They're fake. They're not real. My point is that this guy made threats that he was going to shoot up his school, and he said it was a joke. Well, that takes resources, right? That brings people out of the of investigating true crime, and it's just there is this massive increase of school shooting threats that has gotten exponentially bigger in the last 45 days. So it's very interesting, but the photo blows you away because you look at this and you're like, holy shit. I mean, this kid is obsessed with weapons. But even if you look at the knives and stuff, it's a lot, right? It might be fake, but it's still a lot. Kids in middle school, but what type of culture are we creating when you see a kid who has access to all of that stuff? Now Ethan has airsoft guns and Ethan has Nerf guns and stuff like that. But that
realistic looking ones too.
Yeah, those are fairly realistic. There's still something that as a 14-year-old to have an arsenal of weapons like that and then make a threat, you could see how that would be taken seriously by anybody who's responsible for checking these homes and going in there and looking at all that and going, holy shit, you know, who's buying all this stuff for this kid? And then what happens when it's no longer fake toys, but it's like the kid that that just did the shooting and his father got him an AR. Well, what happened? He grabbed it and then he went and killed people. So these things are just, they're strange. Whatever happened to being a kid? Are you kidding me? Did you just look at what I just showed you? That's not being a kid. that's $10,000 worth of stuff and some pretty serious freaking devices. I mean, samurai swords that are not fake. You got a rapier, you got a broadsword, you got a katana. Some of this stuff isn't kid friendly. I had a wrist rocket, I had BB guns, I had knives and stuff. I don't know. I just didn't have this level of stuff. The point is that the guy makes a threat and then posts on social media some of these weaponries where they don't have the orange dot on it, and people think it's real. My point isn't that he can't be a kid, because my child has guns. My child, of course. My point is he's making threats and he's going to go and kill everyone in his school. That's not being a kid. There's something very wrong with that. Oh yeah, no, Tracy, I'm with you. I understand what you're saying. I mean, kids have guns, and yeah, my kid has guns too. I'm fine with that. But my kid's not calling a middle school and saying he's going to kill everybody in that school either, and have a plethora of stuff that is not just kid friendly. I mean, a 14-year-old has no reason to have a katana. I don't know. I mean, maybe I had a machete at 14, but I was going in the bamboo forest and playing in the barranca in the back of my house. But my point is that I had weaponry when I was younger. I have weapons now, and my son has, guns that do some pretty ridiculous type of things, but he's not going around threatening to shoot schools. So my point is that this is what I was showing, is that this kid's threatening to kill people, and these are the amount of weaponry that he has, and people got scared and they thought it was legitimate. This distracts from looking up real cases. Go ahead.
And I would just add to what you were saying, because my son also has I say my son, it's my gun. I bought it for him. Well, I think Santa brought it because mom would never buy a gun like that for their kid. But he has no access to it unless he asks me. He doesn't even know where I keep it. And it's a pellet gun. It's not going to do a lot of damage, but it's about responsibility. My children both know we keep quite a few firearms in our home. They don't know where a single one is. They don't even know what we have. And if they want to use like the BB guns or the pellet guns, they have to ask us, and it's always under our supervision. There's never any access. They don't just have access. If they want to make their own makeshift guns out of sticks and rubber bands or something, best of luck to y'all. But I think there's a difference there too. And I'm sure that, your kids are a bit older than my kids, so there might be more leniency there. But, my kids are not at an age where they can be unsupervised with a weapon under any circumstances. And I do trust my son. He's old enough. But unfortunately, I'm just a little bit overprotective, I guess. I don't know.
I don't think there's any reason. I think each parent has to parent the way that they deem fit. Liv, when you see that, what do you think?
I mean, you could tell most of them are fake.
Sure.
And a couple look like a couple Ethan's got.
Yeah.
But the knives and the swords, that's a little...
Yeah.
That's a little much.
And some of them are fake, right? I mean, Ethan's got a 6-foot broadsword upstairs, and it's Nerf and it's foam rubber from medieval times.
Exactly. So I mean that's a bit much, but I mean our kids are growing up in a society that it's cool to have Nerf guns, and it's cool to have realistic looking Nerf guns and pellet guns and stuff like that. So, I mean, honestly, if we pulled out all of Ethan's stuff that he has, it would probably cover that table as well.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, he's got a ton of stuff, and he wants new ones for Christmas and birthday every year. His collection is growing.
Yeah.
And I mean, we got him one. Well, Dad got him one that is very realistic looking. That looks almost like one of your handguns to match his.
Yeah, and I got him a full Tech 9 that looks. Oh, it's ridiculously cool.
Just like a real one, except for there's an orange dot on it.
Yep.
I mean, so I understand the collection, but it's the fact that he's making a threat on a school, and it's the fact that he said, "Oh, it was a joke." Anyone who is willing to do that as a joke, give it a couple more years, and I don't know if it's going to be a joke.
Yeah, he's 11 years old, right? And somebody said, well, maybe those are his dad's swords. That's even more alarming.
I mean,
you know what I mean? That's even more alarming. That's terrifying. But it's not the swords, folks. You're not listening to me. My kid, Olivia just told you, we can fill up the table with all of his weaponry, all of his fake stuff, airsoft and Nerf guns and water guns and water, exactly the same, and swords. I mean, he's got nunchucks up in his room.
He actually has real nunchucks up in his room from when he was in Taekwondo that he got from his master.
My kid has a grappling hook.
Yeah, let me finish my point real quick. He's got all of those things, right? I'm not saying that's a problem. What I'm saying is that he's not calling up and threatening to kill everyone in his school. This is do you guys know how many people have actually done that? And then, like Olivia said, 2 years later, they go and shoot up a school, and we go, well, why didn't we do anything? This is one of those things. You should be absolutely watching this kid like a fucking hawk. And the moment that his address pops on a background check, you do a knock on and you visit. I'm sorry. Listen to what I'm saying. I don't care that he has guns. What I care about
is that he's making threats as a joke.
That's my point.
Especially after 2 school shootings. I mean, that's just insane. And apparently our school district, I don't know if there was
Hold
just
on
a
a
rumor.
second.
I don't know if there was just a rumor of a threat, but they did a full investigation on every single school in our district and came up, and we got an email saying that there was no credible threat and all our schools are safe, but they've amped up security in all the schools.
Oh yeah.
And in our district. So, I mean, Hayden and Ethan both have armed officers at their school. And Hayden says she's got 2. There's one at the front door and there's one at the back door. And then Ethan's got one at his school. And the officer is at his school all day long. So I am totally cool because I know my kids are safe.
Yep.
Because they do have armed guards at their school. So I am very happy about that.
Yeah.
But it's just the fact that this is happening.
Yeah.
And I look at Wyoming and Montana and Idaho, and those are the states that these kids grow up hunting and have guns at the age of 3 and learn how to shoot. And there's like nothing up there.
Yeah.
It's because these kids were taught that guns are a serious thing and they've grown up with them.
Yeah. Like my guns are openly available, but my kids know. And whenever people come over to stay the night, they get to talk.
Mm-hmm.
There are guns in this house. Do not touch. If you do touch, my children know how to remove those firearms from your possession. I don't know. There's someone trying to get my attention, Olivia, but you might want to address it over on YouTube.
Oh, okay.
I don't know who that is. So they say I should know them. It's probably a troll.
I think it's one of the soy boys that used to call in and several different names and blah, 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 blah. And
yeah,
I think that's it.
The point is not that there's a lot of schools in the United States. We're completely aware that there's a lot of schools. Hi, buddy. In the United States. The point is that the increase of fake threats against the school, and you see a 3,000% increase. It removes resources. It diverts resource officers and response teams from keeping our schools safe. And this isn't just being felt on the adult level. This tension, this anger, you're also seeing it in the younger generation as well. See you, buddy.
Love you.
I love you too, Belle. See ya. Good night. So anyway, something to think about. At least, to think about. That's all. Amy, last word. We're going to go. We've been here for a while, and I think we got a pretty good show. Got a lot covered, a lot of information. I guess I'll just give my last real quick and then kick it over to Ames. Is that I think it's important. Our first reaction is to distrust the government, and I think that's fine. I don't think there's anything wrong with distrusting the government. But I also think you need to understand that not everyone in the government is evil, and not everybody in every alphabet agency is evil. I have a lot of good friends who work for the government, and it's very similar to what liberals do to Republicans by calling all of us domestic terrorists. You can't sit here and say that everybody in government is evil. You guys say every politician's a bad politician. Well, I don't think you guys think Eli Crane's a bad politician. I don't think you guys think that Nick Freitas is a bad politician. I don't think you guys think Luttrell's a bad politician. There's plenty of politicians who are trying to do good work, but it is corrupt, and they do a lot of nefarious things. But I want you to be really clear, is that if the United States government wants to kill Donald Trump, they don't need to hire some young, petulant trans supporter to miss and screw up. They don't need to hire some Ukrainian nut job who, is playing soldier of fortune. I think what we do is we give the government way too much credit when it fails or when it succeeds, and every failure is their fault. And I think that there's a lot of crazy people in the world, and they do a lot of crazy things, and we need to remember that before we assume that they are in charge of what just took place. I just know what we can and can't do, and I know our capabilities, and you don't need to hire somebody to shoot Donald Trump. There are plenty of other ways to do it that would be very easy to do to make it look like an accident, and we've executed those things across the entire world. It's not that difficult. They took out Kennedy in an ugly, horrible fashion. I don't imagine that the U.S. government would ever do that again. I think they've learned a thing or two since Kennedy, but that's just my gut feeling. Anyway, this guy is weird. And why the State Department wasn't involved. And here's the thing, is that it seemed quickly is that the U.S. government was just like open season to support Ukraine. And they were allowing merc groups that weren't licensed. They were allowing a lot of contractors who were kind of discredited from Afghanistan and Iraq to go over to Ukraine. They were taking highest bidder. There was actually talk about taking felons who were ex-military and allowing them to go to Ukraine. I mean, folks, that they needed help from everybody. So to see that maybe they helped, grease the wheels for this guy to go over to Ukraine and be an influencer, possibly, the truth probably won't come out, but there is a lot of information that will, and we can probably piece it together from there. Amy, go ahead. Sorry, that was long.
Okay. I'll try to keep it really quick here on all the Trump stuff. I just really urge everyone, I'm not trying to say like we shouldn't trust everyone. Like there's a lot of corruption in our government. There's also some good people. They may be the minority in the government, but there are the good people. So I encourage everyone to please do your due diligence. Please research people. Please look into their personal lives, which is a lot of public information out there. Please look into this information to these people who are governing us, and really just take note of that. There's just so many things going on right now with all these school threats. Yes, it's happening literally all over the nation. I also do believe, again, from talking with several people that I know, that it's not something serious. It is some sort of larger distraction. I have not been made privy to any thoughts on what that might be. As far as Trump being, I'm sick of the victim blaming. I'm really sick of the double standard. And I just really I'm going to get a little Jesus-y to you guys for a minute. I just really do call out all of you. I know not everyone's religious, but I had a friend text me yesterday who's agnostic and who was like, I never thought I would ever say this, but we need Jesus. And I'm like, yes, I think we all need Jesus. I just encourage you, if you are someone who is already a believer, please just open your Bible. Someone commented earlier that they don't believe that God's in control of our world right now, and I highly disagree with that. It breaks my heart, this world that we're living in, especially for my children, and I just really hope that we can all find Jesus. Literally, I hope we can all find Jesus in our hearts and just pray for the good people. Pray that we are on God's side, and pray that there's a lot of good that can overcome evil. And unfortunately, evil does prevail in this world that we live in. It's sad, but just keep praying for our country and for Donald Trump and for everyone who governs us and for each other. And that's it from me.
Olivia, I'm very sorry. Is that you actually putting up that 8081?
Yes,
okay.
I copied it from somebody else. I figured I would post that.
Did you ensure that that's accurate?
No, I did not look it up.
Who posted it?
Somebody on WinCam.
Yeah, don't
Why
share
would it?
don't share anything unless it's somebody we know,
Okay.
because that could be a scam and trying to take people's money.
Got it.
And it's
I'll
honest.
go verify it.
Yeah, I would definitely not share anything from anyone. Not that we don't trust our Webkin people, but that could be, nobody use that right now until we verify, please. That would mean a great deal to me. It's not a problem, honey. You're not, you didn't do anything wrong.
I'll go
It's
text
just, unless it's from a trusted source, we don't share anything on this show unless it's trusted. I think it's a great message, Amy. I think it's a beautiful message. I think there's nothing wrong with having faith and believing. For me, it creates more questions, right? I just got a lot of questions. And, but right now that's a wonderful thing, of just get Jesus in our lives. What does it say?
I haven't gotten anything back.
Hold on a second. I want to see. Please don't use that code until we find out. A lot of it could be crypto. It could be they're trying to get your cell phone and your information. Now they're going to spam you. They're going to sell it to Operation Red. It's not a good idea. You don't sign up being a poll watcher through a text message. What does it say?
Nothing.
Yeah. Folks, if you want to be a poll watcher, the greatest way is to go down to your local RNC. Ours is in Ashburn, Virginia. There's plenty of them, and go down and ask to be a poll captain. You can volunteer at your local office, but that's the best way. But texting people and stuff, not a good idea. I would not do that. Okay. I want to thank people for pushing us over the $2,000 mark. It's nice to see us closing in on that goal. We've got about, how many days in September, Livy?
30.
Okay. So we've got 14 more days. Looks like we can do that. If we average, a little over 100 a day, we could definitely get close to that. So thank you so much for donating. If you guys would not mind, we do have the Documents of Freedom in stock. We are shipping that as we speak. The For Which It Stands will ship on the 1st of October. And if you are all interested, go to thedumshow.com and get some great shirts and hats and everything else over there right now. Go take a look. Thanks, Amy, for being here and staying late. Olivia, thank you for staying late. I know you just got over being sick, and we promise we'll stay on time for the rest of the week. Okay? Mm-hmm. See you guys tomorrow. Thanks so much.
Yeah. I'll see you Wednesday.
See you, buddy.
Night, y'all.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, y'all. Love y'all.
Oh, go to Wimkin, by the way. I'm going to play a Wimkin ad, but get out of here. You guys are good to go. Yeah. What is going on, Don't Unfriend Me Nation? Matthew Spear from the Don't Unfriend Me Show. I want to talk to you about Wimkin.com. Now, Jason Shepard and the Wimkin team came into my life about a year and a half ago. They were saying that it's not a Twitter knockoff, that it's just like Facebook, it's fully encrypted, completely safe, and your privacy is paramount. You can live stream, it's 100% made in the USA. And I took a little time, not going to lie. I wanted to make sure that this was the right company, and it took me a little bit to research and take part in the network, and I will tell you that I am 100% right behind Wimkin. Jason Shepard has created an amazing network where people who are sick and tired of being censored and pushed around by big tech, this doesn't happen on Wimkin. He protects your privacy, and he's willing to stand up to the government and anyone who tries to get it. He's already done it once. It doesn't make him very popular, and that's why he needs shows like us and people like you to support him, to get behind him, and to ensure that the most important thing that we all possess is the right to freedom of speech and to share our voices across this great country. Join Wimkin over at wimkin.com today.
Adjusting transmitter output.
This is the Don't Unfriend Me Show with your hosts, Matt, Leroy, Amy, and Olivia. Geopolitics, military analysis, and election coverage. Coming to you live on all major social media channels at The DUM Show. Honest, direct, unfiltered. We can agree, we can disagree. Just don't unfriend me.